Hello, hello, fellow followers. Welcome back to the Physical Media Show here on FanZcene Vids. I'm glad to have you all with us tonight out there in the chat and out there watching. Thank you for waiting on us, and I hope you guys enjoy the show tonight. With me tonight always is Tom and Runner. So how you doing this evening, Runner?
I'm doing all right. I was at the movie theaters. I did not see Mario yet. I watched Air instead because I'm going to see Mario with some friends of mine on Friday. And I watched Air by myself. And it's a fucking great movie. Uh, if you've seen Mario, go watch that, but also watch Air if you can because it's fucking incredible.
Nice, nice, nice. That's what I've heard good things about it. But let's
It's
say
great. It's
yes.
great. Ben Affleck is probably one of the best directors right now, honestly. And I'm gonna say this right now. I don't mean to go into the DC train, but Warner Brothers should be fucking ashamed that they didn't get Ben Affleck to work on his Batman movie because he's just an incredible director. If you've seen his movies.
Yes, yes, sir. But let's say hi to everybody out there that's waiting on that's been waiting on us here in the chat here. Good vibes to you, Random Brad Creator. Always glad to see you here. I like what he says here. He
So, Brad,
says, "Yeah, I'll be in and out just like how the missus likes it." Cheers to all. Well, I love that. That is great. That is a good one. And then uh we have Tim Hayes. It says hell, random bread creator and FanZcene Vids, and he also says hell to everybody else there. Glad to have you here as always, Tim Hayes. Deleted Scenes is with us. The mod general says hell to all. Just got out of Super Mario Brothers himself on my way home. Review up now. We'll be listening in. Enjoy the show. Well, go check out Steven Deleted Scenes review after you watch the Physical Media Show tonight. He's a great friend of the channel, channel member,
oh yeah.
the excellent mod. So go check out his video. I'm sure when he comes back in, if you're hearing this now, Steven, go ahead and drop a link for your review for people to see. It's okay. You can do that. Tyrell72, hello, FanZcene and friends. Glad to have you here as a Tyrell. I thought I clicked on your comment, but I didn't, I guess. There it is. There it is. Greetings to you and greeting. Well, chat jumped on me. What happened? It disappeared. There it went. Cool Gamer, welcome. Hello. How are you this evening? Glad to have you here too. And Ace Hanlon, let's see some media. Yes, we are going to be showing some physical media tonight. Hope you guys are prepared. And then we have Quillian Rogue. Hi, how are you doing tonight, my friend? Let's see. I like your stream. Yeah. Hey, I'm glad you like it. I'm glad everybody's here. And make sure you hit that thumbs up button, give it a like, shout us out, share it, all that good stuff.
I didn't get
But
to see Air, but did get to watch Tetris.
I was hearing about that. I heard that could be an actually really good movie.
That was my favorite movie of the year so far, but I haven't seen Air yet.
Interesting. I
Yeah,
didn't even know Tetris
Air is
was out.
definitely
Go ahead.
yeah, Air's definitely up there. I will watch Tetris at some point, but yeah, and Tom, I'll say this. I know you'll love Air because it takes place in 1984, right? And they reference a ton of like 84 shit, especially movies. Like there's Beverly Hills Cop references, Ghostbuster references, and even Karate Kid. So it's great.
Nice.
Nice.
Sweet.
They even play the Beverly Hills Cop theme song a few times in the movie. It's fucking great.
Nice. That's pretty cool. Welcome,
I
Dan
did go see
Blackroyd.
Mario today too, and that was all
Yeah.
right.
I think the Mario movie
I'm
might be
honest,
a mixed bag for some people. I think some people are going to want to expect it to be something and something else. It's just you can
dude.
kind of see that
The theater was fucking packed when I was there.
for Air
For,
or
no, for Mario, obviously.
oh yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
It's going to
there,
be.
there was a.
It's
I
going.
mean, it was a. I mean, the theater was like at least half full for Air, but most people were there for Mario.
Nice. Yeah, well, Air is one of those movies where it's that'll do better. I used to say on home video, but it'll do better on streaming. That not that it's not a theater going movie, but it's like when with like Mario Brothers opening up, everybody's going to take their kids and everybody see that, and Air will kind of get lost in the shuffle a little bit.
Well,
You know what I mean?
here's the reason. It's not just. Here's the thing. Here's the reason why Mario is going to do better. it's rated PG and Air is rated R.
Well, of
Most people are
course,
gonna
yeah.
go to a PG movie, and because there's a lot of language in Air, that's really why it's rated R.
I get you, but
It's a mature movie, and all that. So yeah, and I think they were gonna they were gonna release it in streaming, I believe, but they probably watched it and Amazon looked at it, was like, oh shit, this movie's too good to be in streaming. We gotta release this bitch in theaters.
well, I think with the Amazon movies, I think mostly they give them like a long enough window in the theater so if they are nominated for any type of awards, I think that's why they put up the Amazon movies in
Yeah,
theaters for like
yeah, and
about a
they
month.
probably released it in theaters because it's an Oscar contender too, I bet.
Yeah. But it's good. Good, you guys got to get out to the theater and see some movies today. That's pretty cool. I like hearing that. I haven't got to get out to the theater in forever, and I really need to. I really do. There's a couple I want to see. But with that, there are some releases coming out that we have. I don't know if we've mentioned yet. So let's see. Let me see if I can get some of these up real quick to go over a few releases that maybe you guys are interested in before we start showing off our physical media. I gotta find this where I keep everything. Should have had it ready to go. Let me see here. Oh yeah, and also check out tomorrow night. I will be debuting my documentary, "Why We Love the Video Store," and I do apologize, Tom, for not getting you in on that. I kind of got a deadline I set for myself, and it got away from me, and I forgot to ask you. That's the truth of the matter. I apologize.
Owned a video
I know.
store.
I know.
Worked for one of the major chains.
I know. I apologize. I really truly meant to ask you, and I sort of got my deadline got away from me, and I really needed to edit stuff together, and it got to me, and I forgot things.
It's okay. I'll just never let you live it down. That's all.
I know, and as you should never let me forget it. But
there
we do
hasn't been a huge amount of announcements in the last week. But a few.
No, not really. Just few. I see the limited edition. Speaking of Mario Brothers, the limited edition 4K from Walmart gift set looks pretty cool with the star and everything.
Now that I've seen the movie.
Cool. There you go. Now you see it. You see it. Milk Creek is releasing the Event Complete series on Blu-ray from 2010 to 2011. Okay, I mean, it was a one season, like 13 episode show that I don't think a lot of people watched.
Speaking of Milk Creek, I don't know if Best Buy still has this sale or not online, but they had like a buttload of their Milk Creek series on sale for hella cheap.
Nice.
Like I got the Rockford Files and Miami Vice for like $35.
Damn.
That's
a good deal.
Yeah, and I got Magnum PI for like half price. It was like $50.
What about, did they have the Miami Vice and Quantum Leaps?
I think Quantum Leap was on there. I had Miami Vice. I got Miami Vice for $35, I think it was, yeah.
Sweet.
And Rockford Files. I already had A-Team and Quantum Leap, though. But yeah.
I don't have a Quantum Leap on Blu-ray.
I have to look and see if they're still on sale, but that was, yeah. That was like 30 to 50% off, basically, yeah.
Cool. I will have to check that out after we get done here. It looks like Shivers. Cronenberg Shivers is coming to 4K on June 30th. I'm sorry, June 30th, which I just bought that not too long ago. Well, not about a year ago from Vestron on the Blu-ray, it looked good. So I would assume it's probably a newer scan. We're getting Vanilla Sky, Tom Cruise in 4K, which I thought we brought that up before, didn't we?
Yeah, I hate that's my least favorite Cameron Crowe film.
Not big on that.
I agree. I didn't love that movie very much either.
Is this the Battlestar Galactica movie?
It was a weird fucking movie.
There's a rumor going around that the original Battlestar Galactica is coming in 4K.
Yeah, I just saw that.
I don't know if it's just the movie or the entire series or what.
It's
already available on Blu-ray, so
that would be interesting to see if it gets to 4K. But we shall see.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'll be honest with you, I'm going to guess and say it's just the original movie. And what the movie was just the pilot episode.
Yeah, just like extended it or whatever.
One I'm 90-minute episode or whatever.
Yeah. That'd be cool to see that on 4K. Maybe I don't think they'd do that whole series in 4K. I mean, they could, but I don't know. It might take
That'd
a
be
while.
really expensive.
Yeah, I was gonna say that'd be really expensive to do the whole series in 4K.
Unless it's all up converts.
That's true. If they just do that. Um, One I did a video on, which I'm excited about, is the aerial video box set. Video Enter the Empire Screams with dolls and robot jocks and oh my gosh, I'm looking at it and I can't even think of all the names right now at the moment. Cellar Dweller, the writer of Chucky. He wrote the movie.
I'm surprised Ghoulies is not in there.
I am surprised Ghoulies is not in there too. But however, he did sell all the rights to Ghoulies, which helped end up making Full Moon Pictures. So maybe he doesn't have all the rights to them to allow them to do that.
This is Arrow anyway.
That's true. That's true. That's right. That's right.
I think, and I don't think any of these are the titles that Charles owns, because I don't think he owns Dolls.
Yeah, I don't think he owns all these at all.
I think these are all the last of the Empire, or the few of the Empire pictures that may be that some of the other ones, the rights are all over the place. So yeah.
Yeah. It's Dolls has got that Jack in the Box, right?
No.
That's the other one.
You're thinking of Demonic Toys, I think.
That's what I'm thinking of, Demonic Toys.
And they actually have a standalone movie of Jack in the Box coming out here.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Dolls is the precursor to the Puppet Master, basically.
Yes, it's basically where Puppet Master is basically Reanimator and Dolls mixed together.
Right. That is true. That's that. So, I never even thought about that.
Demonic Toys.
Yeah, right? I'm thinking of Demonic Toys, which is also in that wheelhouse.
Which is funny because this bear in Demonic Toys looks a lot like the bear in Dolls.
I think that's why it gets me confused, because I always see the bear.
And Guy Rolfe was also in Dolls, which is also weird. But yeah.
Great movies, though. I love the movies.
Oh yeah, Dolls is great.
Yeah.
And I've never seen some of the other ones, and some of them I have, and some of them I'm glad, like Robot. Like, I did buy Dolls, and I think I spent, I don't remember, $60-$70 on it probably. But I mean, it's one of my favorites of Charlie Band, so it's worth it for me. So
right.
Excuse me, but like, I did not shell out for Robot Jocks and some of the other ones that went out of print, so I'm glad I did.
I'm looking forward to. I want to get Arena. I want Arena. I want Dolls. I want Cellar Dweller. I pretty much want all of them. The only one honestly, I've never seen Robot Jocks, so that'd be something new.
I've seen it, but it's basically like a. What do you call it? The proto Pacific Rim kind of movie.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I mean, I remember
Macross. That's what I was trying to think, or whatever you call it. The that kind of a thing.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen parts of it, and I know if you watch Trancers Part 2, Megan Ward, who is in Robot Jocks, is actually watching Robot Jocks in Trancer 2 on TV.
And Robot Jocks has also been cobbled into a bunch of other movies too, I guess.
Yeah.
Which is not abnormal for these guys like Charlie Band and Corman, for instance. But yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love Roger Corman movies. Speaking of which, we're getting not Roger Corman, but Creepshow on 4K from Shout Factory, Scream Factory. So you can get it.
They want $30 just for fucking lobby cards. Did you see
Yeah.
that? That's the only difference between the two sets is the lobby cards. It's like $30 more.
And you get like all that good stuff as well. And then also right now you can get pre-order Creepshow 3, which is a horrible movie. On Blu-ray from them.
Speaking of that's right. Roger Corman turned 97 today. Thanks for reminding me.
Yes. Happy birthday, Roger Corman.
Happy birthday, Roger Corman.
Yes. I wish I would have brought some Roger Corman movies, but I showed them all already.
Can you guys hear me all right?
Yeah.
Okay, you guys are still a little glitchy from my end, but I hope.
I'm not messing up anymore, am I?
You're just clicking, but I'm not going to say nothing because then you worry about it.
I hate when it happens.
And you couldn't seem to fix it last time, so I don't know what to tell you.
I know I kept going to my settings, switching the mics, switching back to mics, up and down. It just...
It's not the mic, it's your connection, I think. So,
it might be.
God damn it. You guys are still roboting from my end. Fuck.
Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto.
Domo.
That's going to sound really cool to him.
Well, that at least sounded normal.
Don't. Private Parts from 1972 is coming to Blu-ray June 6th from Shout Factory.
Not the one with
Not
Howard Stern.
No, not Howard Stern. It looks to be a serial killer movie.
I see Cult of Chucky also got at least a rumor anyway.
Yeah, Cult of Chucky on 4K. And also Motel Hell on 4K.
Motel Hell coming to
I just now
too.
Yeah, I heard Pumpkinhead's rumored for 4K.
Yeah, and Tom's favorite, the 2014 Ninja Turtles movie is coming up 4K.
Oh, fuck that. I thought it already was on 4K.
Nah, the god awful sequel got a 4K, not the first one.
That is horrible. I think that's really honestly about it.
That pissed me off because I'm like, damn it, like that
movie can
coming
suck
out on
dick.
4K, but not the original movie. Fuck that.
It's an upconvert, I guarantee.
Yes, it can. It's so bad. Hell yeah.
I think that's really about it. That's the only big announcement. Big Man on Campus or whatever is coming from Kino. It's an older movies, I think from the 70s. That's it really. That's coming out. When Seth Rogen's movie comes out, you're going to end up loving TMNT 24. We'll see. I don't think it's gonna. I think the movies are still gonna be shit. But as long as everybody's ready and we don't get all glitchy here, who wants to go first?
I will. You guys won't probably.
Do you want to go first, Runner? Or
sure, I might as well.
All right, go ahead.
This is a movie I'm surprised I haven't seen before. I just watched this recently, but I don't know why I didn't watch this before, because it's Sylvester Stallone, and this is a Shout Factory release, and it was by Warner Brothers and Canon, when Canon was a thing back in the day. That is
love Canon. Shout out to the Canon Film Guide, Austin Trinick. Go ahead.
I know you like Canon, so I brought this Cobra. It's a good movie.
Crime is a plague, and I am the cure.
Yeah. And it's got Christmas themes in the background.
Yo.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to talk a little about it?
It's a kick-ass movie. I really liked it. Sylvester Stallone's ex, I think, is in this. Is that right? I forget her name.
Which one?
Brigitte.
Brigitte.
Yeah.
Brigitte. Yeah.
The one who was in Rocky 4.
Brigitte.
You know that's Sylvester Stallone's Beverly Hills Cop, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. That's true. I thought about that when I was watching the movie.
It was actually supposed to be a Beverly Hills Cop movie.
Yeah, I know. I've heard like Tom talk about that before.
Yeah, except for when he was so basically he was gonna be in Beverly Hills Cop before Eddie Murphy was involved. And all the stuff that he had added to Daniel Petrie's original script, which made it more action oriented, and Axel's name was changed from Axel Foley to Axel Cobretti, so he could be the Motor City Cobra. And all the cast was cast with Sylvester Stallone, believe it or not. Like everybody that was in the Eddie Murphy movie was cast in the Sylvester Stallone version, but they just kind of weren't seeing eye to eye. And Sly's like, all right, he backed out of the deal, but he was able to take all of his contributions because they said they were going to go a different direction anyway, or back to the original, because they got Eddie Murphy involved then. But yeah.
And it's a good one. I'm still interested. He's still trying to get that into a TV series, because I know he was trying to make it into a TV series at one point.
Cobra?
Yeah.
Stallone?
Yeah, Stallone was going to make a Cobra TV series.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, he's tried to. I can't remember how long back it was, but he had been coming up and saying like he wants to turn Cobra into a TV series, and of course he wanted to do Rocky, but then we know what happened with the Rocky rods. I know I'm not good with voices.
That is the worst Stallone impression.
I'm not good with impressions.
Okay, I'll even go another further. Have either of you seen Raw?
Eddie Murphy's Raw, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I own it.
Okay, I know you've probably seen it. Greg, I have to Runner hasn't. Yeah. Okay, well there's a rumor that Brigitte Nielsen fucked Eddie Murphy, and Sylvester Stallone and him got into a fight over it.
Really?
Yeah. Eddie says he never did it. But there are people who say that story at the end of Raw, that's him in his fight with Sylvester Stallone. That's why he's playing up all the Rocky shit in the beginning of the joke. Or the beginning of the bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
the
that
fight
makes
that
sense.
him and Stallone got in, and he got his ass kicked by Stallone. And that's not the first time Stallone's kicked somebody's ass. I'll get into that later, and not in this episode, but maybe the next episode.
Nice.
There's a story. I'll explain it a little bit later. But yeah,
from the sounds of it, Brigitte Nielsen slept around a lot, and I think I just read somewhere or saw somewhere that she supposedly did Arnold Schwarzenegger too, and Bragg just learned about it. And Bragg just learned about it. So
that's the thing is, from the story that I've heard, is that she came at Eddie, and Eddie said no, and then got pissed, so she went and told Sly that he came on to her.
Oh man, that woman, talk about a toxic woman.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't mind that over the top series. That would be kind of interesting. I mean, with the slap stuff going around, people doing the slap competition, you could slip that right on in there as a TV series. But yeah, I do remember hearing something that Stallone wanted to turn Cobra into a TV series, but I don't know what came of it. It was a while back. I don't know how long ago it was, but it was
I guarantee you Sly fucked her though, or I mean not Sly.
Yeah, of course.
Schwarzenegger. I mean.
Oh yeah,
Schwarzenegger would fuck anything that moves. I mean, the maid proves that.
Exactly. I'm not doing voices.
Yo, Brigitte, I want to stick it in you. Let's do this. I'm Conan and you're Sonia.
You got titties, don't you?
Where's the titties? I like to fuck.
You gotta do like when he talks about, to me exercising is like coming. I'm coming here, I'm coming there.
When I'm exercising is like an orgasm. I love to come. It's like I'm coming all day long. It's calm. Did you guys see somebody did the reface on Schwarzenegger and Sly onto a Jay and Silent Bob? Did you guys see that?
Oh, I did not see that one.
Oh, it was fucking hilarious. I shared it on Twitter, I think.
I seen the Step Brothers one.
I want to be the first guy to go to another planet, meet an alien, and fuck it. They'll be like, there he goes. Homeboy fucked a Martian.
Oh, that's good. I love that.
And then he's like, all right, be cool. It's Ethan Suplee. He's a good actor.
Oh, that is awesome. I love that. Oh, I have to see that now.
Share that with you guys. Yeah.
I've seen the Step Brothers one where it's Arnold.
I don't know if I've seen that one. Probably the same guy did it though.
Probably it's Arnold and Stallone as the Step Brothers. Did we just become best friends?
Probably.
Yeah.
Because this guy's got like 70,000 subscribers or something like that. And,
it's probably the same guy then.
He's been doing it for a while, it looks like. So yeah. The reface and then he actually does the voice with it too. So.
That's always works when they can do the voices with it. Because
that was what made me laugh so much. It's like he actually made me laugh at Kevin Smith again. That's hilarious.
Oh my god, don't tell me this one. Look. Did you see the Tropic Thunder one with Kanye West?
No. I wonder if I'm gonna have to go look at this guy's stuff. Maybe it's the same guy. Yeah.
I gotta see that one now.
Now I know what I'm doing after the show.
You'll go down the rabbit hole like Runner got you on the Velociraptor guy.
Oh yeah, he will.
Yeah, that was. I hated you for that, Runner. Oh my god! All night long, I was stuck on that page. It's about as bad as last night with the Barbie memes and Robert. Did you see that?
I saw those memes, man. I was like, how is everybody making these?
Well, it's an AI thing, but
I didn't know that.
I'm just like, yeah, and like Robert started it. I'm like, and then Tom was doing it. I'm like, holy shit, this is got.
I'm like, do this one and this one and this one. He's like, all right, I turn it over to you. So I did them, the ones I said. So yeah, and then I added another one or two in there.
Nice.
I mean, there were some clever ones that I saw. Like there was one of.
Come on, mine were the best.
They were good.
Yours were great. I like the Kill Bill one.
They were the best. Come on.
They were good. They were good. Any final words on Cobra Runner?
Yeah. Any final words on Cobra?
He can't hear us.
It's a fun movie, and I can hear you. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
That's the real question. Okay. Cobra's a good movie. I'm gonna need to rewatch it again sometime because I feel like it'll grow on me, or maybe it might not. I don't know. It's a fun movie.
I think
it's
it's
a
an
Stallone flick.
underappreciated one. I like it.
It's not my favorite
Yeah.
Stallone movie. Like I would definitely put Demolition Man over Cobra, to be honest with you.
And I haven't seen
I'll
Demolition
watch
Man in
Demolition.
years.
Oh, Demolition Man's great.
Nice.
Yeah, that's great. I love that.
Yeah, so here's the first
Especially
one.
with the
'cause
yellow background. That one's
Well, I
great.
originally did it with this. Barbie is a skilled assassin. And he's like, no, you gotta, Barbie needs Japanese steel. So I'm like, I fixed it. I said, all right. And then I added the yellow background, like you said, too.
Nice.
I don't hate the pink background either, to be honest.
It does work, but either way. But then, of course, this Barbie's done with your shit.
I like that, Jackie Brown.
This Barbie is keeping an eye on you.
I know what that's from.
This Barbie is divine.
Oh, the Jackie Brown one's really good too.
That's something else. And of course, the pizza
I
resistance.
love that.
This Barbie is ready to get wet and wild. I was thinking, I missed one. I should have did Hedwig from Hedwig and the Angry Inch as well.
Oh, yeah.
That would be, this Barbie has one angry inch.
That's cool.
In fact, maybe I'll go do that now. No, I'm just kidding. I think the joke is past. But.
Yeah, because I think everybody's done it all. But let's go to you, Tom. What do you got? What's your first pick of the night?
Well, I got an offer you might not be able to refuse. It's a very interesting show.
The Freshman?
But you're not
Is it
too
the
far off.
offer?
You're correct. It is the offer on the disc.
Alpha.
I
Nice.
watched it again. It's a very enjoyable
Oh, the lucky guess.
miniseries. So yeah, no, it's excellent show. I highly recommend it. Looks great on disc. I wish it was 4K, but hey, can't complain.
Yeah. I was going to pick that up.
Have you guys even got a chance to watch it?
I haven't got a chance to watch it, but I was going to pick it up. I
No.
saw it, and I was like, I want to buy that because Tom says it's really good, and then I didn't.
I want to get it so I can watch it with my dad because my dad's a huge Godfather fan.
What the fuck is this? 170 fucking pages. You fucked my movie.
Renner's just like, okay.
What do you mean? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, of
So
course
you
you
don't
don't
know.
know.
Anyways, but I've heard, like you said, you and Valiant, I've heard talk about it and say it's really, really good. And I've been really wanting to get into it and see it, because I heard, you guys have explained that it really delves into it and it makes you feel like it's really that, like this is what really happened, which it is what's really happened. But you know what I mean? Feels like you're actually watching it happen.
I mean, there's some hit and misses with the cast, but for the most part, the cast is spot on, especially Matthew Good and Dan Fogler, right? Like,
right.
Dan Fogler becomes Francis Ford Coppola. And Matthew Good, you may not know the name, but you've seen him before. He played Ozymandias in the Watchmen. He becomes Robert Evans. Like, it's just like, I'm like, because Script pointed out to me who he was. I'm like, wait, what? That's Ozyman? No. He's like, yeah, it's the same guy. I'm like, they don't even fucking look alike. Like,
he transformed, man.
He did, man, and I think he won an Emmy or whatever. The Emmy for this, or Golden Globe, one of the two. I can't remember which.
Nice,
maybe both. But like, he just kills it as Evans, and I mean, Script and I will argue how much of this is accurate. I say it's closer to about 75% accurate. He says it's less, but I seen a documentary that backs a lot of this shit in this one up. So, granted, it's from a lot of the people that are portrayed in this film from their perspective. So that may be exactly where that came from. And it's actually a documentary you can watch right here on YouTube. But no, I recommend this show. It's a great, great show. You can see it on Paramount Plus if you want to test it out first. But I think it's like $25 for the whole series, 10 episodes.
Yeah, it was pretty cheap that I saw.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap.
Yeah, I've been wanting to pick that up because like I've heard so many great things about him. Of course, it's the Godfather stuff, and so I definitely want to pick that up. And that is still on my list to pick it up.
And I hope I hope we get more shows like this. Like there's even
Right.
stuff they kind of half-ass set up in here that they could spin off into their own miniseries. But yeah,
Didn't
like Justin Chambers. I liked him all right. I liked him all right. The only ones I didn't care for was the guy who played Frank Sinatra didn't look or sound nothing like him. The guy playing Burt Reynolds doesn't look or sound nothing like him. But a lot of the rest of the cast was pretty spot on in my opinion. I was kind of impressed. And I didn't mind him so much, Bryant, because I didn't feel like he was trying to do a Brando impression so much as he was just playing the part. Right? And that to me means more like the guy playing Pacino kind of took me a little getting used to because like, I'm like, okay, he's kind of doing the voice, but is that like him really doing it or yeah, so like it took me a little bit to warm up to him because he does kind of this thing with the Pacino voice, but it works when he gets going. So
right. I'm really interested because I like to see how these stuff like because we talk about. Sorry, Runner, go ahead if you want to go ahead.
No, you go. I'll talk next.
I was gonna say because we like we talk about here on biopics and stuff that real stuff happened. A lot of time they're like you said, like 75%, 70% accurate, and the rest is just like made up and stuff. So it'd be interesting to see how that all actually plays out on there.
I mean, I'd argue this is probably more accurate than the Tetris movie, but we even got into a little debate about that. But no, but that's what I mean, Brian. I don't feel like he's doing an impersonation or like a parody of him at all. I felt he kind of really tried not to do that. And I think in that he did a good job with it. But again, it's, some people are going to agree, some people are going to disagree on that. It's a tough one.
True.
He's a very iconic individual.
Mm-hmm.
That's very true. And I tried looking at the Best Buy app to see if it was even selling there, and it's not. So that's why I haven't picked it up, sadly.
Well, fuck your Best Buy.
Fuck your Best Buy.
Fuck you. I'm kidding.
That was horrible. That was just mean and spirited.
Not as bad as your Stallone impression, motherfucker.
Hey, yo. That's because he was trying to do Schwarzenegger, Stallone, and vice versa.
Yeah, at the same time, and it just was not. I'm not good at voices. I don't have that voice.
Don't make an excuse.
I'm not Tom. Tom's got this great, magnificent voice, and I don't. So
see, at least I can try to do a Stallone impression if I can.
See, the problem is everybody thinks they can do Arnold, but they can't. It takes a lot of practice, and a lot of it is just in your enunciation. Okay.
I've been trying to practice my Arnold, and I think I'm improving, but I don't know. Put the cookie down now.
Here's the trick of doing Arnold, okay? Everything ends with a or a ya, okay? Like, that's the best way to make it sound like it's Arnold, okay? That's the trick. It's like, it's just, you gotta, plug your nose and act like your nose is broke 24/7. And you like got a permanent fucked up nose and you're sly and you just kind of let your eyes slide down and you don't move your upper lip. That's the trick.
Nice.
And you say a lot.
You know
what I mean?
You know what I mean?
You know what I mean? It's
yeah. I've never been good with voices myself, but that's pretty.
Sometimes you have to hear somebody else do it first. It kind of helps because it's usually the tricks and the nuances. Because like Christopher Walken's one that I've tried from time, and that's one that a lot of people do.
Yeah, everybody does Walken.
But I'm not. I don't think I'm nearly that good at Walken. But Brando's one I can nail. But I do the impression of Brando. I don't really sound like Brando, right? Like I sound like everybody's impression of Brando. That's why it evokes it. But if I actually were to sound like Brando, that's what I feel like is the actor in the offer is actually sounding like Brando. He's not doing a Brando impression, is what I was saying. So
I get you.
Because he's just talking with his voice like this, because Brando's like not really doesn't sound like this. Like, if you really listen to him, it's not how he sounds. but that's what everybody thinks he sounds
Yeah,
like.
because they just imagine
no,
that's
'cause-
like everybody does it that way.
Didn't they put like cotton balls in like his
Well,
cheeks or
yeah,
something?
and but that's just what it sounds like. That. But like even when they go, "You're tearing me apart, Stella," you know, he doesn't sound like that.
And it reminds me of the scene from Men in Tights when Dom DeLuise, I can't have my teeth done. And he pulls out the cotton balls and he gives them to the guy. But anyways, I guess
I think you should have the job of bulldog. Yeah.
yeah.
They actually show that in the offer where he takes the cotton balls and he shoves them in his mouth. It's actually tissue, but yeah.
Yeah. I got to see that. I really do got to see that. I mean, and that's pretty good deal. So I'll be looking into getting that. So
And
I
I
can
think
finally
they were
watch
even
it.
playing with the mist because everybody always said it was cotton balls. No, it wasn't. It was actually tissue in the original thing. And then they had an actual jaw thing made for him for the movie.
Oh, okay.
And what's funny is in the series, they have a stack of cotton balls sitting there. So you think he's going for the cotton balls. No, he goes and grabs 2 tissues instead. So it's almost like it's playing with
Nice.
your expectations on that. And there is like a ton of like just little lines dropped that you could pick up everywhere throughout the show that are clearly there to drop as like, you know, little lines, the cannoli lines and things like that make their way into the movie.
Right. That's pretty cool. I like I said, I really do need to get into it because I've heard really good things about it. And I will totally check that out. Can't wait for Coppola's Swan Song Megalopolis. We'll
No,
see.
he's done filming.
We'll see.
Yeah,
It's
he
done.
wra-
It's
yeah,
finally
he,
done. So
You wrapped.
Yeah, you wrapped. I'm looking forward to it. Part of me is excited, but I have a feeling it's gonna be kind of a train wreck at the same time.
It's either going to be one of the greatest films ever made or one of the greatest train wrecks ever made. Either way, it's a win-win
Yeah.
for everybody.
yeah.
Yeah. That's a better way to summarize it. Actually.
Hopefully, I mean, at least he got it wrapped because like they were talking a while back. It's like, kid, will he even finish it? Half the cast walked out on him. So now we know it's been wrapped. So we'll see how it plays out.
I think a lot of that was he just didn't have the support of the studio system because he was doing it all himself.
Right.
Yeah. That
So the
could be
media
tough.
was giving him a hard time.
Mm-hmm. All right. I guess we'll go to me if there you have any other final words.
No, that's it.
No.
All right, cool. Now, my first pick, yes, what I'm going to show is on Blu-ray, but I got a hankering to watch the VHS, so I watched the VHS. I brought it. I know. But this is the only VHS I got tonight.
Savage.
I know. I was in a nostalgic mood, and I wanted to watch. Let me turn on my camera here if I can remember how to. I wanted to watch Bordello of Blood. I just wanted to watch Tales from the Crypt
Tales from the Crypt.
on VHS. And I mean, I know it's on a Shout Factory, Screen Factory, Blu-ray, and everything. I just got a hankering to watch the VHS. Yeah, so I love this one. I remember for whatever reason when I first watched it, I don't think I enjoyed it as much, but over time I was like, this is a really good movie, and I really, really enjoyed it. And it's so funny to me. I don't know why it took me so long to notice, but like the whole cast is people from vampire movies, from an original vampire movie. I mean, you have Chris Sarandon, Jerry from The Lost Boys as the preacher. You have Corey Feldman as Erica Laniak's brother, who becomes a vampire. I don't know, but could Christia Swanson have played the role Erica Laniak played in this? I mean, I think that would have worked perfectly. The original Buffy as her. Not that she doesn't do a great job in this, but it's fun. I just, I wanted to watch Bordello of Blood. It's been a long time since I've seen it. Dennis Miller is great in the movie, even though I know they had a lot of trouble with him and stuff like that. But yeah, Angie Everhart, she had legs that could kill. What more could you actually say? I mean, it's the Crypt Keeper, it's vampires, and it's boobs. There you go. And it's classic Tales from the Crypt. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's too bad that movie didn't do better, or we would have got some more Tales from the Crypt films. But,
I wish it would have. I would like to have seen them complete the Key trilogy. And I know they did do a third movie, actually, and it was horrible. It was bad. I believe it was like a straight to...
Yeah, Frighteners is always the third film. I don't care
Yeah.
what anybody says.
I agree with you on that. I would like to have seen
It
another
feels
one.
like a Tales from the Crypt movie.
It does.
I mean,
It does. And like
it
even
was
I
set up
said,
that way too. So like, yeah.
yeah, I mean, it had Robert Zemeckis and all of them behind it. So, but like I said, I mean, if you watch Dr. Giggles, not that it feels like a Tales from the Crypt movie, but it feels like an extended Tales from the Crypt TV episode. You know what I mean? That's
there was
what
a couple of the scripts roaming around there at Universal at that time. That could have been one of that was up for it. I don't know.
it could have been. I don't know, but I enjoyed. I hadn't seen Bordello Blood in such a long time, and because I remember I really loved Demon Knight, and
Well, because that's my understanding of what happened was Demon Knight became a hit. Well, I mean, clearly the show was already a hit.
Yeah.
But Demon Knight did well enough at the box office that Universal put out a call for scripts for sequels. Bordello Blood went into production with Frighteners close behind, and then I can't remember what the other one was. Was it Vampires? Or something else? I can't remember what it was.
Was John Carpenter's Vampires part of it?
I can't remember now. I can't remember. I know it's something like that, if not that. Steven might remember in the chat. So they had those 4 movies, those 2 movies set up to go. And then when Bordello Blood finally came out, in the meantime, it flopped. So Frighteners automatically flipped over to just being its own production, and that other movie did too. I can't remember which one it was, but I would imagine they probably had a good stack of scripts that came in from a bunch of different people. I wouldn't be surprised if Dr. Giggles was one of those.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it is, but it wouldn't surprise me.
It wouldn't surprise me too. I mean, I know it was like in association with Dark Horse Comics. It was like their first, and the guy that directed it wrote and directed an episode of Tales from the Crypt and everything. But yeah,
well, if that's the case, maybe not, because EC Comics is what owned Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah, so EC Comics did. Yeah, but I mean, maybe that's why I had to feel, because it was like in the wheelhouse of that type of thing. Brian Barth, I don't know. I mean, I know I do a lot of VHS stuff. No,
not like vinyl.
No, not like vinyl. I mean, like I said, I know I do a lot of VHS stuff, but I concede, and I prefer Blu-ray and 4K. That's what I buy the most of. To me, it's the nostalgic. Like you'll see in my video store documentary tomorrow, one of my interviewees there makes a great point of why people collect VHS. That's the chasing the video store, basically, for people who grew up in the video store. It's kind of like you're buying VHS when I do because of that reason. It's most the nostalgic reasons, but I do tend, if I'm going to buy something and own something forever that I really truly, I get the Blu-ray or the 4K. But I just
look at it this way. I would say this way: don't expect that pickup you got at the flea market or a rummage sale to put your kid through college.
Yeah, that's another thing.
The bottom is going to drop out of this fucking market real quick when people start realizing they're paying an ungodly amount for something that ain't worth a shit.
That's right, exactly.
This would have been like the equivalent of 8 tracks being sold for ungodly amounts right on the cusp of CD becoming a thing. Like, it just makes absolutely no fucking sense whatsoever. It's a bunch of fugazi that people are making up. Because I've got a copy of Back to the Future still in the McDonald's packaging that if I got it graded right now, I could probably sell for like a couple $100 to $1,000 some bucks,
right,
or more. I'm not going to do that to somebody.
Yeah. And it's like
I actually think I still have Back to the Future 2 actually still in the original. This would be original factory release.
That might fetch for a pretty good penny.
I don't know if it's a rental, though. I think it's a sale one, a sell-through one. But I'd have to check on the thing. But it don't matter. Like, to me, it's like that shit ain't worth nothing other than the sentimental value of it.
That's the only reason I get VHS. Honestly, it's sentimental value. There's times where I feel very nostalgic and I want to watch a VHS, or I buy my VHS. I don't spend like outrageous amounts of money. I like 50 cents to $1 at the thrift stores where I get my VHS. Newsflash,
unless you have a CRT TV, they're going to look like shit.
Exactly. So if you try to play them on an HD TV, they do not look good. That's why I got me a little CRTV. It was $10. I love it, and I did buy Kill Her Goats on VHS, but I just thought that was more like retro nostalgic feel to me as well. But no, I don't think the VHS is going to make a comeback, and I do think people are I made a video on that. I think people are being scammed on grading VHS and making people think that their
They're not
VHSs
fucking
are.
comic books, kids.
Yeah, it's like
They're
they
not
said
record albums either. For
it
that
could have been
matter.
sitting next to a magnet, essentially erasing everything on that tape, and you're selling it for $3,000, and somebody's got just a brick sitting there, basically.
I mean, what's next? Laser discs?
Laserdisc discs have kind of made a comeback.
They do have a market, but not like
know?
the only ones that are worth a shit are ones that have shit on them that were never carried over to other things, like be it either a version of a film or special features. I've never seen a Laserdisc worth a shit. There's like a list of like 10 Laserdiscs that are actually worth money.
Right.
We're talking like the Ghostbusters Criterion Collection, like the Star Wars THX set people still buy, and some of the other Star Wars ones for that matter. It's just a few others. Like, but for the most part, why? You're not going to watch these things. I mean, yes, you will. Certain people will. There's such a small portion of the that actually even still have a fucking functioning VCR. Like, and those people are still trying to buy up everyone they can because they're not making anymore. They've been making VCRs for a good 10, 20 years now.
I know. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Like cassettes are not going to ever make it. They tried with cassettes too, like audio cassettes. They never, no. Because they're not viable as a source of usage.
Somebody like me will watch those, we'll watch those VHSs, we'll listen to some of that older stuff like that. It's the people that are spending the thousands and thousands of dollars on those VHS that will never, ever watch those. They will never, it's
those people are doing the same thing that people that ruin the comic book industry.
Yeah, exactly.
They think they're doing some investment, and all it is 2 or 3 people that are buying them back and forth from each other probably is what it is at this point. It's like, sooner like, because I can't see an average person spending $10,000 on an unopened Ghostbusters cassette from 1984.
I wouldn't.
No. Do you know how easy? I guarantee you, how many times have you come across the original Ghostbusters in the wild? I bet you at least a half a dozen times.
Yeah, I actually have an original copy of it, and I've seen like 3 or 4 when I go out. So
have I. It's not like it's you guys are talking, and that's the thing, is the ones that are always worth the most really boggle my brain because they're the most produced fucking ones.
Yeah, that's not the rare ones that have never been on DVD or Blu-ray or whatever. It's the ones that everybody's had that have been released multiple times that they're selling for outrageous amounts of money.
Yeah, but, like Ghostbusters and Back to the Future and shit. I could get a copy of that 10 years ago for next to nothing. I could. People were trying to give me that shit years ago, and I'm like, no, I'm trying to get rid of mine. Like, you want mine? What is a Super VHS? Super VHS is a sub format of VHS that is a bit higher quality that uses a different connection than the standard RCA or coaxial. It was primarily used in editing and I believe in some television and stuff. Like as far as like consumer use, very, very little. Like there was, I don't even think there was ever any commercial SVHSs ever technically released. But it was more so just for use for like editing and stuff like that, especially for the home video editing, big time, because it would help with degradation of quality between transfers.
Cool. But yeah, I just, like I said, I'm a collector. I collect the VHS for nostalgic reason purposes, and I do watch them here. But the movie, yes, the movie Bordello Blood. Check that out. Just do yourself a favor. Watch Demon Knight and Bordello Blood. It's a great double feature. It's great cast. I really think if they could have got Christy Swanson, I know it may not have worked, but I think Christy Swanson would have set that cast off. Even if she played the role of Erica Laniak that she played, because I mean you have all those vampire those actors from other vampire movies all in this one movie. I think that would work so great. But anyway, this great. Dennis Miller is fun. Crypt Creeper is awesome. The Grim Reaper, I can't think of his name. The guy who played the Grim Reaper, Bill and Ted, and it was in Demon Knight. He makes an appearance in the beginning and end with the Crypt Keeper as a mummy. Great stuff. It's hilarious. Check it out. But that was my first pick of the night. So, Runner, if you're ready, we're ready for your second pick. If you're ready.
All right. Can Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. You're roboting from my end, so that's why I asked, but I can show my next pick. I watched this one a few months ago, I believe. It was whenever the the show came out, which I heard was terrible, but the movie's good. The movie's actually really good, and I watched it recently. I didn't want to watch this movie because I thought I was a little too old to watch this type of movie. I didn't think I'd like it as much now as I would back then. And yeah, I found it to be a really good movie. Willow.
I like Willow.
Peck, 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 peck,
Peck,
peck,
peck,
peck,
peck, peck, peck, peck. Shut up, you peck.
Stupid Daikini.
Mad Mod
Ooh.
again.
That marketing is awesome.
We go this way. No,
hell
no,
yeah.
no. Okay, we go this way. No.
Not a
You are
woman.
drunk.
Not a
You are
woman.
drunk. You don't know what you are doing. And you forget that I am in charge.
That's a good flick.
Brownies. I hate brownies.
You've never that was your first time watching Willow, huh?
You never seen Willow before, huh?
I watched.
That's like
it.
one of Val
I watched-
Kilmer's best fucking movies, right there.
It is.
I watched it when the show came out, and I heard people say it was bad, so I just watched the movie, and I was like, "Yeah, this is
The
good."
movie's a fucking amazing. Like it's
Oh,
one
yeah,
of
the
Val
movie's
Kilmer's
great.
best performances. Yeah.
TV show, on the other hand, fuck that. Even
Yeah,
I
fuck the show.
don't need to watch it at all.
I turned
that
it
show
off
sounds
at the
terrible.
moment you got Saoirse bad mouthing Val Kilmer's character, and you learn that Alora Dannon is their fucking maid and shit. You're like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, this is bullshit. I didn't even get to Willow. I turned that shit off. I'm like, fuck this. I know they got a divorce in real life, but you didn't have to make her out to be a bitch in the show too. Fuck.
Yeah, it's horrible. I'm glad I never.
She
watched
basically
even
calls him a
single
deadbeat
bit of
and a
it.
deadbeat dad within the first few seconds of the fucking show.
No, it's horrible.
That's
I'm
terrible.
glad I don't watch Disney Plus anymore. I have not watched it since the season finale of The Mandalorian 2, season 2. So that's like the last time I watched it. I'm so glad I don't watch it anymore.
And I
but
agree
yes,
on Tombstone, Bryant, but Tombstone is also a Kurt Russell film more so than a Val Kilmer movie. But yeah. But no,
Yeah,
like it's
I
in
would
his
say-
top 3 performances for sure.
Mhm.
I would say, yeah, that is probably in his top 3 next to maybe Real Genius and The Doors.
I'm gonna go Top Secret.
Top Secret's good.
No, I'm
but
just
it's
kidding.
not-
No, it's a good movie, but it's not his best performance. I'm just
It's
making
in
a
the
joke.
top 10.
It's
He
yes,
is-
definitely
he
in
is-
top 10.
Okay, he is really good in that though. I'm gonna be honest with you.
It is. It's a great movie.
I have you seen the movie Deja Vu with Denzel Washington?
So,
A long
It's the
time ago,
only
but I
think
don't
so.
remember.
Yeah, same here. I
It's a-
think
it's a-
I've seen it.
It doesn't give me
Tony's-
much deja vu.
It's a Tony Scott movie that stars Denzel Washington and Val Kilmer. It's the only movie
Imagine
those two
that
have
it's a
been in.
Tony Scott movie with Denzel.
It's pretty
in it.
good. It's very underrated.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. I've heard that is a really good one. And that's one actually I've never seen, to be honest with you, but I've heard that one is
Like
really
half
good.
of Tony Scott's movies have Denzel, or more than half.
Yeah, that's true. And now he's going to be in Gladiator 2, I believe. So, yeah.
Oh, that's right. And so he's going
Yeah.
over to Brother Ridley now.
Yeah. But Willow was a great movie. Great. Mad Mardigan is freaking badass.
That's got one of the best audio
Yeah,
commentaries.
he's great.
on
I
it.
wish there was a Mad Mardigan spinoff, to be honest with you.
It would have been nice, but I mean,
The audio commentary on that by Warwick Davis is one of the best.
I haven't listened to it. What's
He's just really good. He's full of fucking knowledge. He does it. He's like a one-man band, which is a rarity for me to enjoy one person talking through a whole commentary, but Warwick manages to do it, and he's entertaining throughout. I mean, it's not like it's funny or over the top or anything like that, but it's just chock full of
Just like-
knowledge and
Yeah, like fascinating to listen to.
tidbits and stories, and he could tell he grew up between that and Return of the Jedi and this, and I think he even talks a little bit about his hanging out with George and stuff like that, and on the set of that, and growing up basically on Lucasfilm, and just all the neat stuff about the movie. I think that was more informative than anything else on the disc, because
Right.
I remember I was pissed when Fox initially released that on Blu-ray. For some unknown reason, they took the commentary off. Like,
That
of all
sucks.
these things, they left all the other special features, but they took the commentary off. But then when Disney re-released it, they put the commentary back on. So, and this movie has been remastered in 4K. It's in 4K on Disney Plus. I don't know why we haven't got a 4K disc yet. Disney.
It's Disney. Maybe they were waiting to see how successful that show is going to be.
I can't believe they didn't put it out to help promote the fucking show.
You would think.
You just put out the 4K of Willow, and you have a big preview before the movie starts of the new Willow show.
I think I told you, Tom, that Willow, like, it says it's the 4K Ultra HD transfer in Disney Plus, and I'm like, can you just give us the fucking disc then?
Yeah,
Jesus.
I think the transfer on that disc is the 4K because George did all his movies at the same time.
Yeah, he did all. Yeah.
Okay.
From what I know,
and I don't know if you guys heard me. I probably jet out when I said this, but I really wish I got like a full on like Mad Mardigan spinoff movie. I think that would have been awesome.
Cool.
I
would have liked to have seen more of that character. Just
even a prequel to see how he got there would have been fun.
Yeah.
I know. Like, yeah, and it ends with him
because clearly he got there because of some woman.
Yeah. no, but it ends with him. Imagine the movie ends with him in the cage.
That's what I'm saying.
And he finds Willow and he calls him a peck.
It just ends with him, Willow, walking up to the cage. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. That would have been awesome. I would have loved that.
We are fans of Val Kilmer as Jim Morrison here, Brunson, right?
Oh, hell yeah. Even though the movie we know is, speaking of like 75, like that movie's more 75% bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's great performance.
Really good, I love that movie.
It's because Val Kilmer,
he was also good in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
I've heard that. That's one I do really need to see. I have never seen it, but I've heard it's really good.
Don't you think it was a tad unnecessary to see the crack in the Indian's bottom? Wayne's World 2 is on 4K on digital, mind you. Not on disc, but on digital.
Yeah. That's good. I forgot about the Indian thing, and I forgot about the Jim Morrison Indian.
Who's the picture of the old lady? That's my old lady.
It's my old lady. The guy playing him was freaking hilarious.
Jim Morrison.
Okay.
I had a dream of Jim Morrison in a desert, and he told me to put on a concert.
If you book it, they will.
And a half-naked Indian, yeah.
It's about Val Kilmer burned a lot of bridges. He kind of got too full of himself and stuff like that, and that's why he basically did a bunch of direct-to-video movies. So, pretty much. But yes, Runner, anything else you want to say about Willow before we go to Tom?
Yeah, Willow was honestly kind of a surprise to me. Because I've heard other people say that like they saw Willow when it first came out when they were like right when they were like a young adult, and they were like, yeah, I don't see it. And then there were some people saying like, oh, I liked it because I was at the right age at the time, and I didn't feel like I was at the right age when I'm watching this, but I found it to be really entertaining. It's good. Warwick Davis is really good. Val Kilmer's the best part, obviously. Val Kilmer's ex-wife is also pretty good in this.
She's fucking hot in it too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
True that.
That's true. And I mean, Val Kilmer's fucking hilarious as a chick. Let's be honest. Those are some
What
nice
a breed.
It's Willow is just one of those movies where they will tell you that, oh, Willow sucks and it did flop when it opened, but then when you actually watch the movie, you go, this movie is actually really good.
It actually didn't flop as bad as people think it did. It just didn't do as well as George was hoping, so he never did anything else with it.
That's true.
The bigger thing I heard was that the toys didn't sell well.
Oh, he's all about that merchandise, the merchandising. All right.
It didn't help that the toys were they had no articulation. They were stupid like PVC figures. They were like shit straight, toys.
Don't move.
Yeah. I don't know what George was thinking with that toy set, because it's like, this screams toy set, and you make this? Like, what the hell? They were like basically what you get out of a fucking Happy Meal.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's crazy. Terrible.
All right, whose turn is it?
It's your turn, Tom. What do you got?
It's quiet. It's all quiet on the Western front, I guess. I got the 4K Blu-ray.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of wished I'd have just watched it on Netflix, because I'd have realized this is probably something I'd never watch again. It's good. It's engrossing, but it's one of those movies where it's so viscerally jarring and realistic that, yeah, I just don't see myself viewing it multiple times.
Interesting.
It's a
I've not seen it, so
it shows some limitations of the 4K digital. Like, there's some parts in it I'm like, I don't know why they shot it like this, but the other parts of it look beautiful and amazing. And the sound, if anything, the sound, it's a reference quality Dolby Atmos soundtrack. And of course, the German track is the only one that's Dolby Atmos.
Right.
But you probably should watch it in German with subtitles.
Ace says it's depressing.
It's depressing as fuck. Yes. I mean, it's okay. The basic story, it starts out, it's about the Germans during World War One. And you follow the life of one of the uniforms at first. You see the first person who is in it gets shot and killed. Then they take that uniform, wash it up, patch it up, give it to a new kid. And then you follow that new kid through his experience and with his friends and newfound friends in the military. It is, and the irony of it is the kid that you follow, he forges his parents' name because they don't want him to join up. And so it's like kind of like this idea of you get set up with it where these kids clearly have no idea what they're getting into. And they're basically sent into hell. To where it is insane. It is probably the most accurate depiction of war at that time, or just about any time, especially before we got more technologically advanced. It's one of those movies that sucks you in. It sucks you in. You end up watching the whole thing, but by the time you're done, just me talking about it right now, I got this lump in my gut.
Right.
It's one of those kind of movies where like I said, I don't know if I'll ever watch it again. I mean, there's a few things I might show off to a friend just for the sound effects of it and stuff like that, but like, it's a tough watch.
It's one of those, like you really get emotionally invested in, and it's just like these horrible things. I don't even know if it's that. Stuff.
It's just you feel fucking dirty after watching it. You feel, like I said, the sickness that I feel like in my stomach right now is the same in the pit that my stomach then, because it is a depressing picture. It is a very depressing picture at the end of the day. There is not much to be had in the way of joy at all. There's not much levity in it. The soundtrack is even droning, and it's good. Like, there's so many great parts to it. Like, as far as film goes, I can see why it got all a bunch of award nominations and all that kind of shit.
Right.
So,
yeah, I was just gonna ask you, like, did it deserve the Oscars that it got?
Oh yeah. This is one of those Saving Private Ryan kind of movies, definitely.
Okay, I get you.
Because when I was watching the Oscars, and I only watched the Oscars because like the stuff that was nominated were actually movies that I saw.
Yeah, and I don't want to tell you guys too much more because it'll ruin the movie. But anyway, go ahead.
No, I like the movie.
Because I was like nuts when it won like 4 Oscars. I'm like, I thought I was gonna win almost everything at that point. I'm just like, Jesus. I think Everything Everywhere All at Once took that, but
Yeah, I knew that was going to take most of them, but
yeah,
I've never seen the 1930 version, to be honest with you, Brian.
Neither have I. So I
think
can't.
I was kind of pissed because I wanted
But
John
apparently, there's a
Williams.
1979 version too. For that was on TV.
There's a ton of fucking.
I was going to say, I think there's quite a few versions of this.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No.
Yeah.
I when I was watching the Oscars when they announced the nominees for best composer and all that, I was really hoping John Williams would win because he hasn't won in a long time.
Yeah.
And then All Quiet on the Western Front wins once again. I'm just like, fucking come on, man.
Now, I like the movie. What was it, 1918 or what was that? Where there was one shot. 1917. I liked that.
I haven't seen that one yet.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
I have the 4K Steelbook. I don't know if I showed that on here yet.
I have the regular 4K, but like, yeah, I haven't watched it yet. I have seen Dunkirk though. I enjoyed that one. All right.
Yeah.
I didn't love. That's one of my least favorite Nolan movies.
So now I don't know if I could watch All Quiet on the Western Front. Not that I wouldn't, because I probably would.
If you have like a family member who's like really into those kind of movies, it might be like a cool movie to watch with them. But like, other than that, you got to be in the right mood for it.
Yeah, I did. Right. Yeah, exactly. I did like 1917 though. I thought it was good. It's a fake one shot though.
Yeah, it's not completely. I understand. There's a lot of good techniques they use to make it look like it's one shot.
Oh yeah, definitely, and it's like visually like amazing and all that. But Robert Meyer Burnett's even pointed that out a few times. Like he like makes it very clear to people like, yeah, that was a fake one shot.
You know what's cool is this does have one of the guys from Inglourious Bastards in it.
Oh, really?
The one German guy who is playing the card game with him and figures out that the actress is a spy.
Oh, yeah?
Which one's that?
When they're down in the one guy's celebrating his birthday, and then he's an officer, so he ends up sitting at the table with him.
Oh, the Zemo guy?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's him.
Yeah.
Is that the guy who plays Baron Zemo? Yeah, I think it's him. He's in it too.
Yeah, I think I know. Yeah. Hacksaw Ridge is really good, Brian Barth. That's a great one.
Yeah, that one's all right, but that one's a little bit easier to stomach than this one was. Like, this is very, very realistic.
That's true.
And it's relentless. It's like as relentless as what the war probably was like. I mean, because like I said, once you get to the climax, you are not rooting for the fucking movie anymore. It's hard for me to say what is happening by the end without explaining it, but like, you're just like, damn. I mean, it may be part of the original story anyway, so I may not be really spoiling anything since it's possibly historically accurate anyway, but like, it's definitely an anti-war film. Definitely. So anyway, there's not much more I can say than that.
I get you. I'll have to check it out eventually. Like I said, it's got to be a movie. You got to be in the mood.
$40 though, man. Like I would have just rather watched it once on Netflix. This is one of the few times I'm going to say, unless you're somebody who really wants this for whatever reason and you're a big, huge war film fan or something like that, I can't really recommend buying the 4K Blu-ray. It's just too expensive.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I mean, it comes in a nice package and all, but...
Well, there you guys go.
I didn't even really show that off. I suppose I should here real quick for you.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, because it's an actual like book thing where it's got the disc, and you got, and this is all in English. It's a U.S. release. Because there was a UK release, I think it was also, but then just the regular Blu-ray. And of course, it's the back of the book, and then you got the nice LJ card, whatever some people call them. All the info on it.
The O card.
Everybody calls them different things. J cards, L cards, OBs. Yeah, they're all kinds of different things.
Nice.
There you go.
Nice. Yeah, this is one of the few times I'd probably say, and I would hate to say it because I would watch it on Netflix, and I hate to say that myself personally, but I may give it a shot. But I have to be in a war
Yeah.
mood. I have to be in a war mood because, like, when I watched 1917, I was in a mood to see a war flick, and it surprised me, and I really enjoyed it. But then again, 1917, I don't think is like a commentary on war. It's a tribute to the director's grandfather. It's a story his grandfather told him. So
Yeah, this is not making war look good in any fucking way, shape, or form.
his movie is a story of a hero during a war. So
yeah, no, that's not this movie.
So I don't know if I can see something. I have to be in a real good mood to see something like that.
Like somebody brought like Casualty of War, Bronson brought up. I have not seen that in many years.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I would probably compare this to like that or Platoon. Like it's a very visceral kind of actually I mean Platoon is even more rewatchable. It is a movie I don't plan on visiting again. By the end of the movie I felt like I had been through the war.
It's rough. It's rough what they went through.
But it pulls you
really
in, man. The way it's
right?
shot, the cinematography, it is gorgeous, right? Like, I mean, it's a beautiful transfer outside of a few shots early on. Like, there's this shot that's in a wolf cave. Like, there's a cubs suckling on their mother. And you can see the limitations of the 4K cameras. Like, there's some weird artifacting on the face of the wolf, but after that it's fine. It's just that one shot for some reason, and I turned the Dolby Vision off to see if it was any different in standard HDR, which that'll come up again later. I'll bring that up because it comes up with a difference. So I thought, oh, okay, maybe that's the problem. Nope. The only thing I didn't do is I didn't think to check the standard Blu-ray or go watch it quick on Netflix to see if it had the same problem there. But it's like glaring. It's like a really bad looking shot. I'm like, what the fuck? It reminded me of when my player would goof up and the Dolby Vision was playing funky. But yeah.
Well, speaking,
anyway, we lost.
we lost Runner again,
anyway, isn't it? But his turn.
It's my turn. But speaking of Platoon, it's funny that you brought that up because the movie I watched, considering it's springtime, Major League, Tom Berenger and Charlie Sheen. Platoon.
Nice.
Which is funny because I was watching the special features and they actually bring that up. They actually bring Platoon up.
I love that movie.
Yes, this is such a great movie. It's springtime.
I think that's a different cover than mine.
Yeah, I know this is
the Wild Thing edition or whatever, but
this
I think it's
the Wild Thing edition. This is the Wild Thing.
I think my cover looks different. I like that cover better. That's the original poster.
Yeah, I like that. That's why.
Damn it.
I got lucky on that one.
Mine has got the stupid Photoshop cover.
Where they're all three on the front.
Yeah, I don't like it. I had the DVD that actually had the turf too, but I got rid of
it. But it was opening day here, where not too long ago, and it's baseball season. Not that I'm really that much into baseball, but
that's one of my favorites.
Yeah, and they'll always be the Cleveland Indians to me. Damn it, I don't care what anybody says.
I've showed you my Corbin Burnson autograph before, haven't I?
No, you have not.
Shit, where is it?
I love Corbin Burnson. I think he's a great actor.
Well, he was at the Star Trek convention, and I didn't have enough to buy his fucking jersey. I was pissed. But he had the photo of him, Tom Berenger, and Charlie Sheen, so I had him sign that picture. And I got it framed somewhere in the house. I just don't know where it's at right now.
Well, that's cool. Nick, you have to bring it on one day, but
whenever I locate it, I've got like a bunch of my autograph pictures put away somewhere. I haven't got to them yet, but
yeah. This movie is just a freaking. It still holds up to today. I mean, you can watch this movie and you smile and you laugh, and it's great. It's fun. It's got great characters. Charlie Sheen, Wild Thing, Rip Vaughn, Tom Berenger with the catcher with the bad knees who's just trying to make it, and Bob Uecker. I'm trying to say the name right. Bob Uecker is great as the color commentary. Corbin Burnson as the rich baseball player. That he's lost
a bit outside.
Just a bit outside. Serrano, fuck you, Jobu. I love it. He's great.
Do not take Jobu's rum. It is very bad.
And then the old man picture, I can't think of his name, and I just watched it. I can't think of his name, but he's like Crisco, Bardo, and a little snot on the ball. He's so great as the old picture. I know. I just watched it, and I cannot think of his damn name myself.
Ed Norton is, I think, the name of the character, but or something like that.
Yeah.
But the real actor's name is Percy something, I think.
I think so. I think you're right, Dad.
But yeah.
He is hilarious.
Up yours, Joe Boo.
Up yours, Joe Boo. And when he does the prayer, and then Ed, like he pops it, and he goes, "Jesus Christ!" and he's trying to do the prayer.
Here you go, one whole chicken.
Yeah. It's one of the best baseball movies you will ever see. It is funny. It's got the sound, the orchestra is amazing. The score to the movie is amazing. It's great
soundtracks.
Yeah, and as somebody who lives in Ohio, even though this is not,
it's filmed mostly in Milwaukee. Believe it or not,
it's weird.
Which is part of the reason Bob Uecker, I believe, is involved in that, because he actually does the broadcast for the Brewers.
Yes.
And that would have been the old county stadium that they shot most of that in, because it looked a lot like the Cleveland stadium, but I believe they were having some spring training there at the time that they couldn't, or something was going down that they couldn't use the stadium, or it was just cheaper to use county stadium, one or the other. In the sequel, though, I believe they used the newer stadium you guys built over there. Do they not?
Well, I don't know. I'm not from Cleveland. We're the Reds where I live.
Okay.
We're the Reds. Yeah.
Okay. So okay, I thought you said you were over by Cleveland. Okay, well, yeah.
No. I was going to say, even though I'm not near Cleveland, as somebody from Ohio, this movie means a lot to me. Even though I'm not, and
of course,
even though
not the Cleveland Indians.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Anyway.
That to me, there will always be the Cleveland Indians. I don't care what the Guardians or whatever they call them now. They're the freaking Cleveland Indians. But yeah, we're the Reds here where I live.
This game's been brought to you by, the hell with it, I can't find it.
Yeah. He's not the best color commentator for no reason. When he tells that guy.
One hit? That's all we've got is one lousy hit?
It's so good. It just like the cast
say shit on the radio. The hell with it. Nobody's listening
Nobody's
anyway.
Yeah. Nobody's called their shot since Babe Ruth in 19 whatever. I can't remember the year.
Yeah.
That was great play. And then Willie Mays Hayes. I was watching it. It's like they said Wesley Snipes actually learned to hit pop-up balls just to do that in the movie. He never could, so he learned it just for the movie and stuff. And it was amazing. It's just a fun movie. And did you know about the alternate ending? I did not know about the alternate ending. As many years as I've had this, I just now watched the alternate ending. I never knew it existed. They were actually going to make the woman, the stripper that owned the team, she was actually going to be a good guy. She was knew all along that this team was going to work, and that the reason she did all the stuff to him was to bring them together and get them to the championship game. And I was watching it, and I was like, yeah, I just don't think that would have worked. Because they said they ended up scrapping it because people, when they tested it, people had grown to so much to love to hate her that they kept her as the villain, and it definitely plays better in knowing that she's not happy that they're winning. But yeah, it was a fun movie. Like I said, we just had opening day here for the Reds, and I wanted to watch this movie, so I was excited to watch that again. I hadn't seen it in so many years. It's a good flick, and Runner, you should definitely check it out because I really think you would like it.
It's on my list, and I'm on my phone just to let you guys know, so that's why my mic might sound different.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely on my list. I've wanted to see it for a while.
Yeah,
because I do like a good sports flick here and there. Even though I'm not a big sports guy, I like sports movies because I like the story and characters written.
The great thing about Major League is that anybody, whether you're a fan or not, can go into Major League and just enjoy the movie because it's set up.
Yeah, I know. I love those types of movies. Yeah,
it's set up in a way where if you're a baseball fan, it works perfectly because they've said that it's one of the best representations of like a ball club, people in the ball club, but also if you're just like a fan of movies.
It was also one of the first times it was R-rated film like that to where they actually kind of had locker room talk.
Yeah, locker room talk and stuff. Yeah, that's what they said. It's like one of the best representations of that. And also, if you're coming in as just like a movie fan, it's got the comedy, the outside of
There
the
was a bit
ballpark
of
and
a Bull
everything.
Durham versus this movie thing going on at the time too, which was the better of the baseball films. I don't know if you remember that at all,
Mhm.
but yeah, I always sided with this one a little bit more. Although
Me
I
too.
like Bull Durham, all right, but like
Well,
this
it
is
was
the
okay. Yeah, but this is the one. Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think Charlie Sheen's career is over, but you never say never anymore in Hollywood. So
I don't think it matters. He made enough money off of 2.5 Men and shit that he'll be fine anyway.
he's good. He's good to go when we
Yeah.
live stream. But that was my pick. So if you're ready and you can show off what you got, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right.
All right. So I actually have another sports movie. It's a lot more serious. I wouldn't really call this one a comedy, but it's a Disney sports movie. So I don't know.
This after he just said, I don't like sports movies.
I know. He does it all the time.
No, I'm going to show you the sports movie I watched this week.
I said I like
Is it Mighty
sports
Ducks
movies.
2?
No, it is a hockey movie though.
Okay.
Miracle. Do you believe
Shit!
in miracles?
You got it
Kurt
right,
Russell.
damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kurt Russell's fucking great. And I said I like sports movies, Tom. I didn't say I didn't like them.
I thought you said you didn't. I could have swore.
No, I said I
didn't.
did. I said I do like sports movies. I just don't care about watching sports.
Mm.
I mistaken, sir.
I mean, if you
I
believe
like
in miracles,
I like sports movies.
Fine. You like sports movies.
No, but
thin ice here, runner.
it's a good movie. Probably one of Kurt Russell's best performances. In all honesty, it's really, really damn good.
Based on a true story.
Yeah, I wonder how much of it's real though.
It's based on a true story.
Well, at least if we know the final thing in the game is real,
Yeah,
because
some of
that's
it's
what
real.
happened. You know, for the most part, that's what
If I
happened.
recall from when it came out, it was kind of. I think that there's some things in there that are real. It's probably more real than a lot of movies at that time. Like Cool Runnings is almost complete bullshit.
Yeah.
The only thing that Cool Runnings is like, yeah, there was a Jamaican bobsled.
I haven't seen Cool Runnings in a long time.
The rest of that movie is completely made up.
You mean that guy? You mean John Candy didn't teach those Jamaicans how to
No.
bobsled?
No.
You've just ruined my whole day.
No. I mean, I think they do actually use footage from their one run in the movie. That part is true too, but like yeah, all the characters are made up, and like there was no guy named Yul Brenner.
That's true.
Does that ruin your childhood, Greg?
No, I know all this. I know all this, runner. I know it's true.
No, this came out in the time when
Okay.
Disney was really into the Olympics. Like they were way behind like you even had the D2 movie was Olympic based.
Mhm.
This is an Olympic based film. I think they even had a couple other ones. They're really big with the Olympics going on and shit.
And the guy who directed Miracle is the same guy who directed The Accountant and Warrior.
No, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
one.
I forget his name, but he's
It's
a
on
pretty
the
good
back of the
director.
case. Just look at the case.
I like the movie all right, but the problem I have with it is that we have this
Gavin
one
O'Connor,
teacher
that's his name.
that whenever I'd have his study hall, he'd have that movie playing.
Oh, so it's played over and over and over.
Every time. Yeah, it was either that or I can't remember what the other one was, but it was usually Miracle because he loved Miracle. It was like,
I hate when that happens, especially if you kind of like a movie and then somebody keeps playing it over and over, and then you kind of get aggravated at the movie.
see, I got kind of used to it working at video stores though, so like you can kind of tune some of that shit out, but sometimes you can't. Like there's certain trailers and shit that I cannot stomach anymore.
Yeah. It's like
A few
40-year-old virgin with the Michael McDonald.
Like I've seen the trailer for Mamma Mia so many fucking times that if I hear any of those songs, I get like, for instance.
Yeah, I understand you.
Yeah.
I understand that. But speaking of this movie, like like a few months ago, I was recording footage of a hockey game, a college hockey game, and it was a cool experience.
Nice.
My hands were cold as fuck, but the guy who he was asking some of the digital film students if they'd like to go out one day and just record some footage and edit it all together and stuff and whatnot. And I was asked to do it, or my teacher asked if I'd like to do it. I'm like, yeah, sure. And I was getting paid too, so it was kind of nice.
Nice.
And I asked the guy who hired me. I was like, what's your favorite hockey movie? And then he said Miracle was his favorite.
So you went and checked it out?
Yeah, so I went and checked it out. Well, I got this on the 5 movie for $1 thing for the
Right.
Disney member club thing.
Club.
So
No deal. Yeah.
yeah, it was a good movie. I really liked it.
Yeah.
Not
it's
my
not
favorite
bad.
not my favorite hockey movie. My favorite hockey movie is probably Slapshot.
Mm, That's not. I mean, that's cool.
Yeah,
It's cool. Too. All right. All right.
but Kurt Russell's great. It may even be his best performance. I don't know.
Kurt
This is
Russell's
right.
great in everything.
I know he's great in everything, but like he was really good in this. Like this is probably his best next to Tombstone. My honest opinion.
I mean, you got Big Trouble in Little China. You got Escape from New York. You got
The Thing,
The Thing. You got
Elvis,
Tombstone, Elvis. I don't.
Backdraft.
I think some of those might be a little better than Miracle. Not that Miracle is bad.
No. I'm not. No, those are better movies than Miracle.
Some of those performances might be a little better than Miracle. His performance. In Miracle.
I kind of disagree.
Okay, it's okay to disagree though.
I mean, he's great in all those movies. Don't get me wrong, but like, I think this is one of his best performances.
All right, I feel you. That's what I personally will say it's a great performance, but I don't think it's his best or better than any of those I just listed.
I don't know. This is probably top 5. This is probably top 5. I feel like you're mistaking performance to like actual
No,
movie.
I'm not taking mistaken performance.
Are you?
I
feel like that's what you're.
I think
I feel like that's what you're doing. But
White Earp is 100 times better than that. I think his performance of Snake Plissken is 100 times better than that. I think his performance in The Thing is just like nuanced, great performance of this man and these people and his surrounding and what's going on and trying to keep it together and everything. I think that's brilliant.
No, those are good movies, and he's great in those movies too. And I also liked him a lot in Backdraft, but I don't know.
But I'm not going to put you down there for thinking that or anything like that. I mean,
no. I understand. I understand what you mean. I was just asking if you were going off of the actual movie rather than performance, because I'm talking about performance.
I know what you're talking. I totally get where you're coming from, Runner. I know what you mean. Performance.
This is not the best Kurt Russell movie. There's no way in hell this is the best Kurt Russell movie, but it is one of his best performances.
I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I honestly, I would say probably his performance in there is pretty good. It's
what about his performance in? You think his performance in Miracle is better, or his performance in the Fast and Furious movies?
Miracle's better than the Fast and Furious movies.
Okay, there you go. You have some redemption points there, Craig.
I remember those movies.
He's fun in the Fast and Furious movies, but he's barely in it. He's just kind of made fun of for being called Mr. Nobody.
Yeah. Yes, sadly, the real Sean. I think was it? I stopped at 7. I have not seen past that.
He was in the last few movies. The last like
4 or 5 at least, I think. Yeah, he's in them. Not in the first like 4 at least.
It's crazy.
I feel like he made his introduction in the series in the 5th movie, either the 5th or the 6th. Yes, he was in the Fast and Furious franchise.
All right. Any final words on Miracle, and then we're going to go to Tom.
No.
Right.
It's a well shot movie too, for a hockey movie. I think it's really good.
Nice. All right. Well, Tom, if you're ready for your next pick, do you
guess.
believe in miracles?
I believe that we've got a failure to communicate. And I gotta say, I was a little disappointed in this so-called cinematic classic. As you see here, I've got the fancy dancy 100-year steelbook of Cool Hand Luke. I'd never seen the film before, full disclosure. I've seen, I don't know how many dozen scenes of it from various things. I know a lot of the main quotes from the film even. I knew the basic outline. But after I watched it, I don't get it. I don't understand what the hype is. I mean, I suppose I could show off the steelbook real quick. The back is like, we got a failure to communicate. It really hits that home. And of course, you got the inside that just has the discs and a picture of the guys. So yeah, I mean, the steelbook looks all right. That part's kind of cool, whatever. But I didn't hate the movie.
Uh-oh, we lost Tom.
What happened?
I don't know what happened.
Did his internet blow out?
Meant to turn off the cam and hit the wrong button.
Okay.
I wouldn't say I was more or less disappointed, like, in the overhypedness of it. I get it. It's a heavy-handed Christ allegory with a very muddy ending as far as I'm concerned. And I wanted to like it more. And it's funny because before the show, Greg and I were talking a little bit about it because you've seen it too, Greg. I don't know if you
Yes, I've seen it. I've seen it.
And I said I think maybe the movie would have done a little bit better had it had Steve McQueen in it. And I think for the reason I think it might have, not just because of the acting wise, but I think he would have had more to say with the material. I'm not so sure Paul Newman had much to say with this. I don't think he necessarily believes in it. See, because it's a very anti-establishment, pro-hippie kind of Christ allegory in a way. And I just don't think Paul was the right guy for it. I know it's one of his most iconic roles, but I'm going to say that right now. I think Steve McQueen would have done a better job with this, and he really would have found a better voice with this. Because I got more out of his character with what little he does in the Great Escape than I did here with Paul Newman. I get it. I get the movie. I get all the messages. I get all the themes. I get what it's all about. But at the end of the day, other than the obvious Christ allegories, I'm just like, this just doesn't seem to have a clear message to me. And it's a movie that I've said I'm thinking about getting a group of people together to talk about it, so maybe they can explain it to me. Like I'm missing something.
I got a question though.
Sure.
Like, because I haven't seen the movie yet. I plan on getting the 4K maybe when it's like cheaper. I would say, but first I would say like when I heard about that movie, I was like, this feels like a Steve McQueen type of movie, but they just casted Paul Newman in it. It would if they had Steve McQueen in the movie, wouldn't you think that'd be a little typecast or no?
Yes, but for the right reasons. That's what I'm saying. He was at that time this character. Right? Like Paul is the cute, sexy guy with the wry smile who get in a little bit of trouble, but not to the point of what he does here. Steve McQueen is the kind of guy you could see pushing it too far. And the other thing is some things just don't make sense to me. Like, he sent to hardcore prison camp for knocking the tops off of fucking meters. Like, okay. It's a little harsh.
Gotta go to the hard time.
Yeah, like 2 years he gets or something. I'm like, wow. Okay, but it's got a great cast. Otherwise, I don't know. Maybe you're not the only one. Maybe you were the one who's bringing this up on Twitter. Otherwise, somebody else was too. That they were saying it was kind of like it's one of those movies you got to see a few times. I just don't feel myself being drawn back to it. I've had movies like that before where I didn't really necessarily like them the first time out, but I found myself drawn back to them, and then I end up loving them. I don't
Right.
see that
Yeah.
happening with this movie.
I've been there before. I mean, my dad used to watch. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I've been there before too. I'm trying to think of what movies I didn't like back then that I like now, because it's happened a few times.
But it was like I told Tom. My dad used to watch Cool Hand Luke all the time. When it comes on, he just leave it on and we watch it. I think it's a fine movie. I don't know. I think I agree with Tom and that Steve McQueen probably could have pulled that role off a little better. So not much I could really say about it. I just always, honestly, to me, the only thing that still sticks out in my head is the egg scene. I've never forgotten the egg scene as many times as I've seen it.
That's
just like
probably the most Paul
head.
Newman scene in the whole movie, too.
Yeah, that's like the whole thing. Like that just is constantly in my head every time I think about the movie. Is that? But yeah, there you go. Sometimes these movies are built up, these classic films are built up, and people who have never seen them, when they finally see them, they go, I don't get it. I didn't, wasn't for me.
Transfer wise, it looks pretty good. I'm not sure if they have the original negative or not, but it appears so. But it's a little softer, but it's a Warner. I don't know. Warner, some reason, has been doing that lately with some of them. They haven't been as good as the older ones were, but it could very well be that I don't know what's left of the original negative for this film either, because I'm sure it's been printed a billion times. So
that's true.
It's got some great scenes. I mean, maybe if anything, it's really the ending that bothers me, and it's not just because it's a downer either. It's just that I'm not so sure it's not. I feel like it's sending mixed messages. I'm not quite sure I get it. I hate saying it. I almost compare it to like a woke film of today and some of the heavy-handedness of some of the messaging of the time.
Oh.
Interesting.
And I'm not saying the movie is woke, but I mean by the way that it's like really pretentiously trying to do this whole fuck the man thing, and he's a Christ allegory because he's been nothing but beaten and he's been repressed, and like literally he's digging his own grave, right? Like, I mean, and the rice scene is like, how on the fucking nose can you get? It's the Last Supper, for Pete's sake. I mean,
all right.
Fuck. And everybody loses faith in him at the one part too, and I'm just like, that part really is kind of where it really started sinking into me, and it didn't start making sense because I'm like, they should have fought for him. Instead, they're turning away from him, and it's that whole bit where everybody turned from Jesus or whatever. It's like, again, so that's where I started realizing, I'm like, oh, this is a fucking Christ allegory. Did Zack Snyder direct this?
You had to go there, didn't you?
There's going to be people.
That's because that's all he knows what to do, Runner.
And they're going to.
I'm sorry, the Christ allegory is the most overused fucking trope in movies, and that may not be this movie's fault. Okay, hand to God, no pun intended. Like, it could very well be. I didn't even take that into consideration until this moment. That there's been, how many hundreds of fucking movies that have used Christ allegories. Back then, maybe it was new, wasn't necessarily something that had been done a million times, and I didn't think about it then. But even then, there was something off about it up to that point. It kind of started to sink in, and the movie started losing me at that point. Because I'm like, I don't get what this movie's trying to say, and it just feels like it's trying to fit the mold of a Christ allegory when it doesn't. It should have been more like a Caesar allegory, maybe. Would have made more sense in a hippie kind of way. I mean, I keep saying hippie because even though there's no hippies in the movie, like, that's clearly what was going on at the time, and that's what they were trying to, because that's what Luke is doing, right? He's he's giving the finger to the man over and over and over and over and over and over again. And all he learns on both ends is to either conform or it's going to be a living hell for him. Right? And I don't understand what they're trying to tell me at the end of the film with that. It feels like it got muddy somewhere. Maybe I'm missing something because of the distance and time. I don't know. I mean, as far as watchability, yeah, okay, whatever. It was fine as a movie. But there's just something about it that's irking me. And it's not in the way that it's a movie that I feel like I'm going to go back and enjoy again and again and again. Like some other ones people have brought up that I agree. Like, yeah, the first viewing, I was like, what the fuck was that? And then I go back and watch it. And I'm like, okay, now it's growing on me. And then it's something that ends up becoming like one of my favorites or one of my guilty pleasures. But I don't see that happening here.
I get you. I feel that. Hey, not everybody can like, we say people say it's classic. Not everybody's going to like them, so it happens.
Oh, I just thought about one of the more recent movies I watched that I couldn't even finish at the time, but I ended up watching the entire thing recently, and I didn't hate it. It was the third Ninja Turtles movie.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah,
like I said, with a re-edit, it wouldn't be a horrible movie. You just cut out all the modern stupid jokes.
Yeah, but
like the shwing. Oh, I just ate a frog. I hope it wasn't an ancestor. Stupid shit like that. Or you were expecting the Addams Family? Like basically everything Corey Feldman says in the movie, cut out.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Or any of his wisecracks, anyway.
All right.
And then cut Splinter out of it altogether. He doesn't really play a part in it anyway.
He's not important.
No, not really. But I didn't think he.
I would intercut it with just shots from the other two movies, or the original movie, or something like. Yeah, I wouldn't.
I mean,
I try to find a way to make it work, but yeah. Maybe someday that'll be my goal: is to recut Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3.
I would like to see that, the Tom Connors cut. I'd love that. The two best things about that movie, though, in my opinion, are Casey Jones and the relationship between Raph and Yoshi. Those are probably the two best.
I would love to find the deleted scenes, though. That's the thing.
That'd be interesting.
Because there is there's a whole little subplot, and that's why Michelangelo has a rough time leaving. Is he's got a bunch of other scenes with what's her face, the chick.
I forgot.
Kenshin or whatever her name is, or no, that's the guy's name. I'm trying to think of the chick's name. Shit. Anyway, her and Mikey have a bunch of scenes together. In one scene, he basically invents nunchucks too. I think I told you guys this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, because they're actually using them to shred the rice off of the plants. He's like, "Oh, nunchucks, bro!" And he picks them up and he starts whipping them around. And they're like, what is he doing?" They'd never seen anybody do nunchucks before, so they're like, "Oh, yeah." So he basically shows them how to do nunchucks. He invents nunchucking.
The inventor of nunchucks, Michelangelo.
Marty McFly invented rock and roll.
Yeah. That was a much bigger plot than the original script. Inventing that. Okay, so but any final words on Cool Hand Luke or anything?
Nah, I just again I have a feeling that I've sparked a little bit of not like a super debate, like it's not like people are going at each other over it. Mm-hmm. I think it's a very healthy debate about the film, actually.
Right.
So I have a feeling that this might come back. I have a feeling we're gonna have a set down with some people, and some people are gonna kind of give me some ins and outs of the film. I don't know if I'm gonna change my mind on it necessarily, but I might walk away with a better understanding, or I'll be even more confused.
Be interesting to see you guys talk about. I mean, because I'll admit it's not one of my favorite movies. I've never really liked it that much, but
I dug the guitar soundtrack.
I enjoyed it for what it was.
I thought the guitar soundtrack was really cool.
Right,
you're breaking up really bad.
Shit. I hate when I start doing that. Let me try.
Yeah, because I think it's your turn too, isn't it?
Yeah, I can hear it too.
Is it Runner's turn or is it?
It's my turn.
Greg's turn.
Let me try something real quick.
Yeah, you're really crackling bad. Crackling Rosie, get on board. Unless I should do another one, because I technically have I technically have 3 left.
Greg, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. How's it any sounding any better?
A little bit clear, but you're still clicking. But we can at
Yeah.
least understand you now.
I hate when it starts clicking like that. I don't know why. Everything's up on my internet and everything all looks good.
There's got to be something else, dude. I don't know what it is that's interfering with it. It's hard to say.
It's got to be something. I'm not sure. Everything's doing good. I mean, last week I can understand my internet was dropping low, but it looks to be fine right now. All right. I mean, if you want to go again, Tom, since you got more, you can. But I can go. I don't care. If you guys heard me that time.
I heard you.
Go ahead, man. I'll look up and see if I can figure out some troubleshooting for your mic issues in the meantime.
All right. Well, I have this movie. This is a 4K that came out not too long ago. I had never. Well, I think I have never seen this movie, but the ending of the movie looked very familiar. But this movie is Drive on 4K, starring Mark Dacascos. Mark Dacascos. He's in the John Wick Part 3. He's the Iron Chef guy. And Kadeem Hardison and Brittany Murphy. This was put out by 88 Films and MVD. It's the new 4K of the movie. It could have used an HDR. The HDR could have really helped this movie because sometimes the image looks a little flat. It comes a poster of the film here too. But if you've never seen this, I would highly, highly recommend this movie. It's a great, great movie. I've wanted
to watch it.
I think you would totally run it. I think you would totally enjoy it. Yeah, I think you would totally enjoy it, Runner. It's definitely right up your alley. It's before Rush Hour, so it's like a buddy comedy action type flick. It's actually before Rush Hour, and the martial arts fight scenes in this are truly, they're epic. They're amazing. They're great fight scenes. Everything you could want in like a martial arts thing, and the people that handled it, like world famous martial arts from martial arts movies and stuff from China and all that.
Yeah, I wanted to get that 4K that you got.
The 4K looks good. It looks a little flat in some spots. It really could have used HDR. I think they missed the opportunity to put HDR on this, but it is a new 4K scan of the original negative. And it contains the director's cut and original cut. The director's cut is the one you want to watch. The original cut was actually edited down to 98 minutes by somebody else when they released it here on TV. And so, like after that, they kind of just kept the 98-minute cut here in America. But now that it's back to its full glory here. But it's a good flick. It's essentially, Mark Dacascos' character. He's from Hong Kong. He has this implant on his heart. And it makes his speed and his reflexes and everything, like he's like it makes him superhuman. And he's like this beta prototype, and he's escaped his government, and he's come to America to sell it for like $5 million because he doesn't want to do what they're doing, and he wants to help out here. And then so they're after him to get him, but they don't want to kill him. But then they end up creating a better version, and they send him after him to go kill him. And he gets teamed up with Kadeem Hardison's character because he saves him, and he kind of sort of kidnaps him, and then they go on this drive together to go sell the chip while they're being chased by these guys. And it's a really fun movie. It's got great characters, great comedy. It's if you like the Rush Hour, you'll like this. If you like action, like if you like John Wick, you will like this. For people that are never like into new modern stuff like John Wick, so you will definitely like Drive. Drive is a good movie. It was a straight to VHS movie back in the day, but it's recently been found, and it's just really good. So I highly recommend it to anybody who's never seen it. Trust me, Runner, it's right up your alley.
I'm interested.
Didn't they remake that movie with Ryan Gosling or whatever it was?
No, Ryan Gosling's movie is called Drive, but it's not a remake.
It's not. It has nothing to do with it. Okay.
No, it has nothing.
Yeah, that's the Drive I've heard of. I haven't seen that one either, surprisingly.
I've seen that one. It's not. It's pretty good. That's a pretty good one too. It's got a great synth soundtrack to it.
Yeah, I've heard good things about that one.
Yes, Drive, but both Drive movies are pretty good. So if you've never seen either one, check them out. This one, I was really happy to get it. I had that, like I said, I don't think I've seen it, but then when I was watching the movie, especially when it came to like the final fight and then and the ending of the movie, I kind of was like, I think I've seen this part before. So I may have seen it before when I was younger and just blocked it out of my memory or not, but this is a good one. This is I can say I highly recommend this. Great characters. Brittany Murphy is absolutely nuts in this movie, as always. So yeah, but if you get a chance, check it out. Drive, great movie. But Runner, if you're ready for yours next one, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. I finally watched this movie. I know you and Tom talked about it like months ago because this was a limited edition Shout Factory release on Blu-ray, and it stars. I'm gonna give it away when I tell when I give you the cast, but Dennis Hopper, Stephen Dorff, and Debbie Mazur, Space Truckers.
Hey, good flick.
Hey, that's a good one.
What'd you think?
It's fun, but I didn't enjoy it as much as you guys. Which I kind of expected it to be that way, to be honest with you. Like Dennis Hopper's great. I think he's what really makes the movie, in my opinion.
I love Dennis Hopper in that.
Yeah.
Expand. You're going to expand on it?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't think of it too much, to be honest with you, at the end. Like it's fun. I didn't love it as much as you guys. I feel like you guys would talk about it a little more than me. I just want to let you guys know that I did watch it, and
Okay.
I got. I don't know if it's like completely sold out yet because this isn't one I'd like. It's almost like it is a better movie, I think, than the David Carradine one. To be honest with you, because the like it's that movie and that movie I plan on maybe selling in the future when the price goes up.
He's still talking about that Carradine one. Because Tom talked him into. He feels like you talked him into getting
Don't
it.
buy shit I say. Clearly, like,
Well,
Greg
here's
and
the thing.
I, same
Here's the thing.
wavelengths.
It's
You and I, not so much.
Yeah.
I know, but I know I want the trailers, but not so much Tom. It was the trailer that wanted me to get that fucking movie, and I even told Tom like I was kind of glad I got the movie because whenever that movie is OOP, I can sell it for like twice like 2 times the price of what I paid. So I'm not too mad about that type of purchase. You know what I mean?
I hear you. But I loved Space Truckers. I think it's a
No,
great
Space.
movie.
It's fun. It's fun. I
Debbie
just didn't love it as
Mazur,
much as you guys.
Debbie Mazur is hot in that movie. Uh,
Yeah, this is probably it's probably the best she's ever looked in my
Dennis
opinion.
Hopper is awesome, and it's got this fun little story, like sort of like a sort of Guardians of the Galaxy sort of type story. And plus
Cowboy
you get
Bebop.
yeah, Cowboy Bebop. Actually, it inspired Cowboy Bebop. To be honest with you,
Yeah,
if I
I
remember
could tell.
correctly, or either if I can't remember if it's if it,
This movie had to have come before that because
I
Cowboy
can't.
Bebop was like
I
early
think
2000s, I
I
believe.
think this partially inspired Cowboy Bebop, and plus you get a good appearance by Barbara Crampton, who I think is one of my favorite scream queens from the '80s, and it's still smoking hot to this day. So I think it's just a fun movie.
Yeah, it's fun. I just didn't love it as much as you guys.
I like what Tim says here. He says, "I didn't buy Space Truckers, but I thought bought the Carradine one since I have a feeling it will be better."
I was hoping it'd be better too. I was fucking disappointed with that movie. It was just boring. Like there's it's got like the was it the warrior and the sorcerer like it has its moments, but the pacing was fucking terrible with that movie.
I still haven't seen it yet, but it is one I want to get.
Yeah,
I might be able to get it because they're having a Roger Corman sale. Speaking of which, that's one of his movies. It's his birthday. They're having a Roger Corman sale on Shout Factory, so I might be able to get that for a pretty good penny now, pretty cheap. So I'll check that out.
Will you for that movie? Because
I would buy it. Yes, it would be like Tom said. We're on the same wavelength here. It is something I would enjoy. So
no, I'm not saying that. That's not the question I'm asking. I'm asking if that's on the sale.
It should be. It's no, that's exclusive, isn't it?
I was gonna say because it's an exclusive and it's like limited, like
so I said it
amount of copies. So it wouldn't.
I'm gonna have to go and see what they got on sale.
Oh, it's $21.99. So yeah, I'd buy it.
Well, yeah, then it's on sale.
Yeah, I'd buy it then.
Yeah.
Guess I can't sell it now. I'm gonna wait till it's completely gone.
Anyways, all right. Space Truckers. I think it's a great movie. I think it's a great Blu-ray.
It's fun. I wouldn't go as far as say it's great.
I like cheesy bad movies though, but I think it's a good one. I think it's great. But Tom, if you're ready, if you don't have anything else to say, Tom, if you're ready, if you can understand me,
I can. All right. This next one is yes, I'll let you out just as soon as I'm done here, Sadie. This next one I can't believe is one that got past me as a youngin. I just happened to pick it up, even though it looks like it came out a few years. It has in it Robert Forster and Fred Williamson, and it came out in 1982. And it actually had a few different names, but it initially went off by the name of Vigilante. It's an interesting tale. Here's the alternate cover. It was also called Street Gangs and some other stuff. This is one of the many Die Hard ripoffs. Or not Die Hard, sorry. Death Wish, I meant.
Death Wish
ripoffs, but it's very well done. It's basically the city gone mad with crime, and Fred Williamson is part of this elite group of guys who go around kicking the shit and killing bad guys. Because the city is just corrupt as hell. And you see this when Robert Forster's family gets attacked, and I'm not going to say exactly what all happens, but let's say very much in a Death Wish kind of form. And while he's in court for one of the many guys that attacked his family, they managed to get one, and they're getting to plead guilty to an assault charge at worst, and he gets like a 6-month suspended sentence. So Robert freaks the fuck out and goes to attack the judge. So he ends up in prison. So he does I'm assuming like a year in prison, probably for trying to attack a judge or something like that.
Right.
So that he's in prison this whole time. And so when he gets out, his whole life has gone to hell. When he kind of has an idea of what Fred Williamson and his crew are up to. So he kind of gets with them, and you can kind of imagine where this movie goes from there. It's fun.
It sounds like a good one.
It's funny because it's not mentioned in my next pick, but you'll be surprised it isn't. But you'll see why the Revenge-O-Matic thing it just kind of happened to fit in the vein of my next few films, even though it was just happenstance. Just happened to be a movie I bought, picked up, threw in, because Robert Forster and Fred Williamson are in. I'm like, oh, that looks good. I'll watch this. I've never seen it before. And yeah, what's weird is it almost feels like it'd be a good pilot for a TV show.
Right. I want to see it now. I don't think I've ever seen it. I want to see this now. Sounds
it's
really,
not
really
great, but it's one of the better Death Wish ripoffs.
Right. I'm gonna have to look that up, Vigilante, and I like Robert Forster and Fred Williamson, so I definitely need to check that out. It sounds decent enough for I'd definitely give it a watch.
Yeah, and of course Blue Underground does a great job with the presentation. It looks
Mhm.
amazing, sounds amazing. This is another one that I would actually say there's some really great Dolby Atmos sound effects they did on it. So yeah, music's pretty good. It was a good film. Like I said, it's not going to be like a knock you out film, but yeah, it was a good flick, good paced flick.
I mean, and that what we go to see movies for, like a good place flick. They don't all have to be bangers. So,
Like again, it's one of the better Death Wish ripoffs for sure.
cool. Do you want to go again since I only got one left, and I think Runner's only got one left?
No, that was
All right.
it for me.
All right,
you
I'll
have
combine
no
these
more?
two.
I have
Okay,
one.
because the term Revenge-O-Matic, the first time I ever heard it was in this Quentin Tarantino's Cinema Speculation. And I finally got through the whole thing, and it is amazing. I recommend it highly, and it has sent me down a rabbit hole of films that I have enjoyed, some of which I already knew many of the ones he talks about in here. But one that he brings up in here, and this is going to come up quite a bit. Okay, so for those who don't even know what this is, or you're kind of curious what it might be,
Yeah.
it's Quentin kind of going through his film experience, but then he has like, I want to say it's like just over a dozen films. Like each chapter's a movie, and then he'll talk
Yes.
about various other films around. So you've listened to a little bit of it so far, then?
Yeah.
Runner?
I didn't listen to it. I don't. Where do you get the CD thing? Where do you
I
get
got
that?
it from Amazon.
'Cause
Actually,
I tried looking for it and I don't know where to. Can you send me the link to that?
yeah, I can.
Yeah, because I tried looking everywhere for that same thing that you have. I have the book because my dad gave it to me as a Christmas gift, and I read the prologue where he talks about his like the beginning of his film experience and all that, and that's all great. And I read the chapter for Bullet, which was like the first one, and honestly, like the entire time, like I was reading it, I was just like, I kind of want to watch the movie first. I kind of want to watch these movies that he has on each chapter first, and then sort of get through all of it. So
Well, that's kind
that's
of what
just
got me
though.
down the rabbit hole, right? Like, because a lot of the movies I did know of, but then there was a few that I didn't, or I happened to have, and I
Yeah,
just haven't watched yet. And one that he
because
mentions in there is this one,
Which sold very,
as you
very
can
well.
tell, clearly is an inspiration on Kill Bill a little bit, and specifically, he made Daryl Hannah watch this.
I could
Now,
tell.
what this is a fucked up movie, but it's good.
Good.
Now there's two different versions. Now this one I can't recommend. It's just the cut down version of this. And the only reason I could see you wanting to go for this is if you really just do not want to watch like the hardcore sex scenes and the violence scenes. Because this is like 18 minutes shorter than the original version.
Right.
Like it even starts like 2 or 3 minutes into the movie already when this one does. But this one, okay, it starts out, you see her as a young girl get molested, and because of that experience, it's so traumatic, she never talks again. And then when she's a teenager, she misses the bus and takes a ride from the wrong guy.
Poor woman.
Who basically takes her and gets her addicted to heroin and forces her to prostitute herself to get her heroin fix. And it's fucked up. So what they did is they had, I mean, there's tons of nudity in the movie as it is.
I bet.
But they actually had a performing sex group perform the actual penetrating scenes. Like there's full on porn scenes in this movie, basically. But they're not in any way, shape, or form meant to be titillating. It is really not in any way. Like, to me, it's a disservice the way the American version butchered this movie. Because it almost has to be that way, because it's almost an ugliness that the movie needs. And this movie is also probably most famous for is it has an actual eye cutting on screen.
Oh, really?
They actually used the body of a dead girl and cut her eyeball.
And they actually show
That
it?
is crazy.
Yes.
I mean, I've heard about
really
this
close
movie and
up.
stuff, but
Fuck.
They cut it really close up because you think it's her. But when I first saw it, I'm like, holy shit, how the hell did they do that? I did some research. I'm like, whoa, so this is like a big reason why this movie's so well known. It was made in Sweden. Okay, so over
it's
there,
an
they're just
American
like,
film. Yeah.
whatever, I guess. But it ended up getting banned in Sweden on top of it all. But they use that as like one of the selling points of the film. So okay, so she has her eyeball cut because she keeps trying to escape and she doesn't want to listen. And there's one other girl that's there with her. And I don't want to tell too much more because basically she ends up going on a roaring, I almost have to tell you just so, because you know, because it leads up to because so much shit happens in it, right? Let's just say that some bad shit happens and she starts to get herself trained in shooting and karate and all this shit. And she becomes a ball of roaring, rampaging revenge, basically, by the end of the film. I can't believe they didn't make 20 of these fuckers. Like, this sets itself up so perfectly for this chick to just go around and blowing up whorehouses and killing pimps. Like, I can't believe this didn't become a film series.
Maybe because there's so many people edit it throughout other countries or stuff. You know, I don't know.
Well, my understanding, the They Call Her One Eye did pretty well here, as far as I know. I mean, it's fairly well known. Like I said, it's one of Tarantino. He mentions it. It's not one of the chapters, but he mentions it when he gets to he mentions it in the better revenge-o-matic / comparing it to some of the stuff like in Hardcore and stuff like that when he gets into it. Because it's got a similar thing, you know, where a girl gets sucked into either prostitution or the porn industry or what have you. And
Right.
like, yeah, it's just, there's some stuff in here that's kind of weird and ridiculous, but it's definitely an exploitation / you know, low budget
Revenge flick.
revenge flick. Exactly.
Right.
So
Well,
I don't know if you can still get it or not, but I recommend it.
I believe the set you have you cannot get, but you can get just the 4K, you know, and just the cover,
Yeah,
the box and all that.
Yeah, I looked at it. You can still get the 4K.
Yeah.
Don't even really worry about getting one. If you can get, is it separate? Or
It's
you
just
stuck-
it's just in a case. It's just a 4K in the case with the
Is it
reversible
both
cover
versions
art.
of it?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe so. Because I know the set you got sold out quick on Vinegar Syndrome. It was like one of the best selling things they ever did. It went like that.
Because outside of special features, there is no real reason to have They Call Her One. There's nothing different in it. Like, I read something that I thought it said there was stuff that was added to it that wasn't in the other version, and I'm like, I scanned through the whole fucking movie. I didn't see one thing that was added. Everything, it just looked like the same movie with just all the good shit cut out.
Right. But yeah, I've been a little familiar with the movie. I didn't know some of the stuff like you were explaining about it, but I knew, you know, the name and all that, and I knew Tarantino sort of liked it, but I didn't know a whole lot about that. But yeah, this sounds like a crazy flick. I'm surprised. Like you said, I'm really surprised they didn't try to make sequels. I don't know.
It
Usually-
screams like a movie series, right?
Usually-
Like One
usually
Eye
movies
could have been
like-
in a ton
yeah.
of them.
Usually, like even like the Walking Tall movies turned into a series. It feels like something like, you know, from that era where they would just like sequel that type of thing out.
Oh yeah, like I said, she could go around saving, you know, chicks from the same kind of guy that she got. Like, I could see it. Like, I can't believe they didn't do at least 3 of them.
Interesting.
And you could tell it was shot, I think, on 16 millimeters, so it was real cheap. Oh, that's the other cool thing. They actually used some government cameras that were mainly used for like car crash footage and shit. So it has like some super slow-mo shots in it at like 3,000 frames a second. And they're actually pretty cool, like a lot of the action scenes and shit. So it shows you like they had to actually really do these stunts really well, because otherwise they're going to look fake as fuck in slow motion.
Right.
But they actually look kind of cool, and it adds kind of a, it's like a style to the movie. You could definitely tell Tarantino was very influenced by it. Like,
Yeah.
there's parts of it you're just like, oh yeah, I can tell Tarantino watched this movie a lot.
He had it off the shelves every night.
I think he says in the book he has a 16 millimeter print of it, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, nice. That's cool. That is something, if I ever do get enough money in some way, shape, or form, I would like to buy like prints of movies like that. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, if I could actually find a way to store them and
yeah, store them
some room
and
for it.
yeah, that would be. They're much harder than Blu-rays and 4Ks.
Well, and the maintenance on the problem is nowadays is the maintenance on the cameras, and just to play different types of film, you usually have to have different kind of, or not cameras, projectors. I mean,
projectors and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and the maintenance on those and the parts to get a lot of them and fixed are very, like, there's only like 2 or 3 theaters in the whole country that still show film, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Right, like that's
Which
where
is
we're
sad.
at this point. It is, but at the same time, most of these movies will look better through a 4K projector, because you're getting the scan of the negative, projecting it out, than any 35 millimeter, 16 millimeter, 8 millimeter print of anything you could buy. I mean, it'd be neat just to have something like that. But like, I guarantee you, like a 35 millimeter projector is going to be like a huge
amount of money, and
like,
yeah, to fix it up, keep it running, and all that.
Exactly. Yeah, it would probably be something you'd be putting a lot more money and time into than you'd actually be able to enjoy, I bet.
But that is something.
There's this one guy online who actually he used to do that through 16 millimeter and 35 millimeter prints. Watch him all the time in his screening room. He switched over to a 4K projector because it just got too much to deal with.
That is something I will say. I will give credit 4K. We love 4K is like, if you get the right 4K, especially like from Vinegar Syndrome, it really feels like you're watching the 35 millimeter, 16 millimeter print of the movies when you put them in and stuff. When you use them right and watching them on the right screen, it really feels like you're watching the print of the film to begin with.
Yeah,
with the right grain and everything.
The answer to Brian's question: shit like this.
Yeah. How do you think
that's what the book's about? It's like he sees shit like Bullet. He sees shit like Deliverance as a kid. I mean, he was raised on, because his mom took him to movies as long as she didn't care what it was, as long as Quentin could understand the context of the violence and the sex.
Right.
She didn't care. There was only a few movies that she did not really want him to see, and that's just because because she didn't feel like he could understand them. And in that case, it would be like him just watching violence for violence sake.
Yeah, I remember there was a part, I forgot which movie it was that they were watching, but I think he slept in the theater at one point, and
he slept through some movies.
Yeah, no, it was one movie in particular, but his mom was kind of glad that he did.
Oh, it was the hippie one, Joe.
Yeah, Joe, that's right.
He didn't see the end of Joe. That's what I've been looking for too. And another one that he mentions in there that I haven't been able to get a decent version of is the Parker one, the Syndicate, which I'll bring up here in my next pick, actually, funnily enough. But I recommend it highly. And the movie itself I recommend too. But like, Tarantino's book is great. So he takes you through this journey of him, his experiences, his discovery in film. And then he gives a little bit of his theories on things. And he talks a lot about like the movie brats of the 70s and how they changed movies. And I think that he and the media did him a disservice when he was griping about movies saying that the 70s were better than the 80s and stuff like that. When you actually get into this, you understand what he's getting at, right? Because he even concedes. And what's weird is you can apply it to now. He says that he was more into the movies that the 70s created and a lot of those guys were taking chances on. But the audience didn't want that. The audience wanted The Godfather. The audience wanted Jaws. The audience wanted, Star Wars. That wasn't necessarily what he wanted as a film fan. That's what the audience wanted. Right. But so in that case, it's the same thing like we're dealing with now. A lot of those films coming into the 70s were dealing with heavy-handed, like Cool Hand Luke, I was talking about earlier, heavy-handed kind of political things and social movements and things at the time, kind of like we are now, only this is more manufactured. That was an actual movement back then.
Right.
Now it's just manufactured bullshit, and now it's kind of the same thing. People are getting sick of that. They just want to see fun movies again.
Exactly.
We want to see the Jaws and the Star Wars and the Godfathers. We don't want to see this other crap anymore. And that's kind of what he's getting at. And he does equate it to today with the superhero movies. He gets back around to that. It's a great piece. I hope it's the first book in a series of books. I hope he keeps doing these. The only bummer of the book on tape or the audiobook is that he only reads like the first chapter and the last chapter, which I hate it when they do that on audiobooks. And they don't find somebody who sounds like the individual. It bugs me.
And you can tell it doesn't sound like Tarantino.
Well, it's not like they usually pretend to be that person, but it's just like, you get to a point where you're like, fuck, I was listening to the individual. I want to hear it in their voice.
Yeah.
So if I have any recommendation, I doubt he's listening, but if I have any gripe about this, is that he should have just done the whole audiobook.
Right. That would have been nice. Good night, Brian Barth. Thank you for hanging with us. Yeah, I was thinking about picking up Thriller because I didn't want to buy the big set because I didn't have the money for it, and I knew that was going to go. It was pretty quick. But I was thinking about getting Thriller, so
I think you'll dig it.
Sounds crazy, man. So yeah, I might. I think there's a bunch on Vinegar Syndrome I've been meaning to get that I just have not got yet. So I really need to get on there and get some.
I want to get a few. I want to get a few of their stuff too, but like they're so fucking expensive.
Yeah, well, I try to get them here and there when I can, especially when they have the sales. That's the best time to get them.
Yeah, I know, but like I know, like on their Black Friday sales and stuff, it's like they'll have their fucking website like shut down for like a few days or something, and it's like, I don't know, that shit like that kind of bothers me.
I hear you. What's up, Rookie? Glad to see you there.
Yo, what's going on, Rookie?
So I have one more pick, and then you have one more pick. Is that how it goes, Tom, or do you have more?
I got one more after this.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and show you my last pick. It's not thriller or revenge oriented. it's more in the vein of like we just talked about how the audience wanted fun movies in the 80s, and since it's getting into Easter and it's springtime, I was sort of in a mood, with some of the stuff I watched. Critters 2. So I had to watch Critters 2. It is an Easter movie, so there you have it. If you've not seen the Critters movies, I recommend the Critters. I love the Critters movies. The best Gremlins knockoff flicks. Basically, they're back, and there's some critter eggs that were left, and the bounty hunters come back to collect them, and the town is terrorized by these critters, and this is the movie where you finally get the big critter ball. This, when all the critters come together and make a big ball and just like chew up things. It's a great, it's great fun one. No Tim Hayes. Critters 3 is one with Leonardo DiCaprio. It's his first movie. It's where they're inside the apartment building in the city. Critters 2 is the Easter one where the Easter bunny gets eaten by the critters in front of everybody at church. So
and somehow Scott Grimes ages 5 years in 2 years. I don't know how he
right.
does it,
he does, and what's funny is even the chick that he ends up getting with is older than him. So
I know it's really weird because like in the first movie he's supposed to be like 12 or whatever. And then all of a sudden he's a fucking senior in the second movie. It's like, wait a minute. That's not how the Force works. Like, I mean, I guess here's the thing is I think he was a little older than 12 in the original movie. I think he was like 14 when he did it. So
Yeah.
then he was actually like 16, 17 when he did the second film. So he was more age appropriate by the second. I think they
Yeah.
couldn't hide his age anymore by the second film. They're like, yeah, he's a
Just-
teenager now.
we'll just say this age.
It works. It doesn't fucking matter. I
Yeah.
love the second film. I do. I love
Yeah, the
both,
second one's great.
well, I love all the Critters films, but 3 and 4, of course, fall off. But
Big time.
2, though, surprisingly, was just as much fun, if not maybe even funner than the first
Yeah.
movie in some respects. Is it a better film? No. Is it
No.
more fun? Yes.
Yes.
Like,
I agree with you on that.
You get a lot more critters. You get a lot more critter fun. You can tell they had like twice the budget they did the first time around. And the critter ball, I mean, is iconic as fuck.
Yeah. That's what I was talking about. That's where it comes in.
And I mean, it's funny how much this movie actually has in common with the original script of Gremlins, believe it or not.
Mhm.
I was just gonna say, is it like Gremlins 1 and 2, where the first Gremlins is better, but the second
No.
one's fun?
Not in that much sense, because like, yeah, there's a little bit more comedy in the second film, that I will agree with.
Yeah, definitely.
No, the second film is still
I did watch Gremlins.
serious and dark, but yeah.
I was gonna say, I know you guys have been wanting me to watch Gremlins 2 for a while, and I did watch it a few weeks ago.
No, Gremlins 2 borderline straight up fucking parody. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of
like
what I
Gremlins
mean.
2 is the
Yeah.
airplane of sequels, right? Like, if they literally,
That's
like,
true.
Joe Dante's just like, fuck it, I'm gonna make fun of the first movie.
Yeah, it works.
We'll see if the studio notices.
It does. It's good. Speaking of
And
which,
when I was a kid and I seen it the first time, I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? Because they didn't really show you this shit. Here's the funny thing, because, you know, we've talked about spoilers before. I knew this whole fucking movie going into it, between the cards, the book, and some other things, the storybook and all that crap. But they didn't really telegraph the idea that this was like a meta film. Right? Like, it's not like in the cards. They didn't have the Hulk Hogan scene in the cards and shit like that. So like, that whole aspect of the film was never really kind of given to the audience before the movie came out. Even the trailers don't present it that way. The trailer just presents it as like a straight sequel. But once you're in the movie, you're like, wait a minute, this movie's making fun of itself. The absurdity of the first film, while also making fun of like Trump and TNN, or not TNN, TNT, what's his name?
Ted Turner.
Ted Turner, and that kind of a thing. You know, because like, I'm like, wait a minute here. You know, like when I was a kid, I even started to pick up on that the first time I saw it in theaters. Like, no, Critters 2 is a straight sequel to the first movie. It's not like it's a... What do I mean by meta? Is like it's aware of itself.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's one of the earlier films like that.
Like,
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
the best example is Scream. Is a meta horror film. Yeah.
Or
It's
New
very
Nightmare.
aware of what it is. Or New Nightmare, yes. New Nightmare.
New Nightmare.
Yes. But I love...
Like, it's self-aware of itself, yeah.
Yeah, they're very aware that they're actually inside of a movie. But yeah, Critters 2 was great. But back the director of Drive, by the way, he worked on Gremlins. He worked on the puppets, the movie I just brought tonight. I just want to say it. But Critters
one
2,
of the Kyoto brothers?
no, he's a director. His name is Steve Wang. He helped with the Critter. What is that?
Sounds like Runner's jerking off.
I know. What was going on? Was that your lotion pump, man?
No, it's a granola bar wrapper. I forgot to mute.
No, the director Steve Wang of the movie Drive I brought, he helped with the puppets on Gremlins.
Gremlins. I thought you meant Critters.
No, but I like Critters too. Like you said, it is funnier. You get boobs in Gremlins too. You get the bounty hunters.
Critters
they do.
too, you mean,
Yeah, Critters.
Now you did what I just did.
You get boobs and Critters too, and it's got a great bit with the like pulls the staple Alvar.
Some of the last PG-13 titties, if I remember right.
Yeah. And they do some really great transformations with the bounty hunters when she changes all those different people. You get the great shot of like when they come in and they blow the Critter's head off in the frying, missed
opportunity, because I guarantee you they had to have been filming a Nightmare on Elm Street movie at the same fucking time.
And he
How
was
do you
going to turn
not
into
have
Freddy.
that scene where he's going to
Freddy.
turn into Freddy and just have Robert Englund come in for a day and just do a cameo.
Right.
All you had to do is have him go, kill more Kreitz.
Yeah, that would have
And
been
have her running
amazing.
and then just have him Charlie running after going, no, turn back into her. And then the next scene you see her, she's back. But like, you could have deduced from there, like
Yeah.
I mean, the scene as is okay, but it was a real bummer because as a kid, I'm like, oh shit, is she gonna really turn into Freddy?
Yeah, I was waiting for that too. I was like, I was hoping, and then it doesn't. He's like, no, and he pulls up the magazine.
As a
again.
kid, I'll tell you what, when Ugg died, or is it Lee that died? Lee died. When Lee died, that was one that really bothered me as a kid.
Right.
I was kind of upset about that. I'm like, oh man, it really bothered me.
Yeah, it is weird when the like
The little baby
like
critters got to me too because I was like 8 years old when this movie came out. Those little baby critters were fucking vicious little fuckers.
They good and
they eat the fucking dog. I mean, like,
they do.
What the fuck?
That sucks.
And that's what I'm saying. There's more that this movie has in common with the original Gremlins script, which is weird because they eat the fucking dog in the original Gremlins script. The baby critters eat the fucking dog.
Mm-hmm.
Like, instead of Easter or Christmas, it's Easter. There's that aspect of it. And Billy is very much like Scott Grimes' character, similar-ish. And the girl and the girlfriend thing that's also very similar-ish. And then you have at the end the whole warehouse scene is almost verbatim from Gremlins.
Right.
Like it's because that's the whole thing is in that thing they get them all together because of the food, but in the Gremlins script they don't like to be separated, so they take one and they make them all follow them to this warehouse. So they trap them inside and blow them up. So like, yeah. So like, so like all that shit's like, wow, it's weird that kind of shit is exactly the same as the original Gremlins script, but it's stuff that didn't make it into the Gremlins movie.
Wonder if what's McGarris read that or something, or if just
very plausibly.
Honestly,
I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't get one of the original people to read the script and be looked at for Gremlins. Like, you got to remember, a lot of these guys were all running in the same circles. And shit.
Yeah, I mean, and what's his name? Like you said, what's his name? Who did The Fly 2 worked on the puppets and Gremlins. So, and McGarris worked on The Fly 2. He could have very well, had connections.
These guys all know each other, and a lot of them were offered a lot of the same gigs. Like Joe Dante was even offered, I believe, Halloween 3 at one point. And turned it down, for instance. I think that
would have been interesting, though. That would have been really cool.
Yeah, that would.
Yeah, but I was was in a mood. It's Critters 2, man. It's a Easter season, springtime.
I just thought of this now. We need a Critters John Wick spinoff.
Well, the last two Critters projects have been garbage.
I know that new Critters movie was so bad.
I say that because of the little critter guys biting the dog or killing the dog or whatever.
They could do a new Critters movie. Scott Grimes is still working. He's on the Orville. We know he can still do it. You could bring him back and say he got married to that girl from the part 2, and they're back in this hometown, and Critters come back. It just writes itself, and he could have a son or a daughter, and then maybe they go back to his old house. I would be down for something like that.
Even if you don't get any of the original cast back, you still have the continuity of the whole bounty hunter thing, which is good.
Exactly. You could use them, and they transform. You could even say it's the same bounty hunters. Because they could change their faces.
Well, Lee's dead already, but
yeah,
we already know what happened with him too. But I would just kind of go with something new, or it doesn't have to be a reboot per se. It can still be a sequel. It's just, like you said, you could get Grimes involved, but I'm sure it's just one of those things. But no, it's too bad that the franchise kind of took a downturn to straight to video. But and then the last 2 projects we've gotten have been garbage. I wish I could have had my chance to fucking work on those. I'd have made something so much better than that. Especially if we got D fucking Wallace.
And then they get her back to the new movie, and
both of those, like, I swear, like, that one Critters series was bad enough. I'm like, the New Binge or whatever the hell it was called.
Oh yeah,
my God, at least the Critters Kill or whatever the hell the fucking other movie was called. Like, that can't be nearly as bad as that thing was. Boy, was I fucking wrong.
Didn't you like the female critter, the white female critter?
No, I'm like, what the fuck is this?
And then they get
This
you all,
is
so she's not even playing the same
redonkulous.
character. She's somebody completely
I thought they couldn't
different.
get dumber than the actual kid being a critter. Like, what the fuck? Like, how does that compute? Like, you guys really don't understand the Critters franchise, do you?
Yeah.
And these are supposed to be
Yeah.
some Critter fans behind this shit. I'm like, did they watch the movies once and then never watch them again or something? Well, that's what that was, Sean, is it was like
a little web series.
mini web series, but basically you put them all together, it's one fucking movie. And
Yeah.
then they had a whole nother project going on at the same fucking time, unrelated to it. And that one had some potential at first, and then the movie came out.
It was bad.
I
would
we should
say-
have known from the trailers, but yeah.
Yeah. Critter Stream 4 miles ahead of that movie and that little web series TV, whatever that is. At least you get
The only
Brad
problem I have
Dourif
with Critters
in the fourth
4,
one.
yeah, I like the cast of Critters 4. The only problem I have with Critters 4 is you got your number of movies is more than the amount of critters you have in
Yeah.
the movie.
It's
Like-
very much more like a space like
It's
alien
a rip-off
type
of
movie.
Alien. Yeah, it's
Alien.
like, and you got 3 critters in the whole fucking movie. You're like, what the
Right.
fuck is it?
It's good. But there you go. There's my final pick of the night. Critters.
Especially
2.
after Critters 3 being like kind of impressive for a straight-to-video movie, I was kind of like, oh. I was kind of impressed because even though they spent a lot less money, you know, they had a little bit more advancement in techniques, so those critters don't look too bad.
No.
But they only have 3 of them in fucking the 4th film. That's like,
Yeah.
what the hell? It's because they shot 3 and 4 at the same time.
Yeah, they blew all their money on the third one and all the space stuff, so they had to cut down the critters.
Yeah, there's more to that story. And what's his face? Dave Sheen or whatever, how do you say his name? The guy who wrote The Crow, and he wrote those last 2 movies. And he was on. I want to talk to him. He was on R&B's one night, so they
That'd
know
be
each
awesome.
other. Because I was like, I'd love to get the inside scoop on that. Because yeah, basically what you're saying, he says that in the making of it or whatever on the Shout Factory one. He's like, yeah, they thought they were going to spend all the money on both films, and they ended up running out of money for the 4th film, and they didn't have no money anymore, so I had to rewrite it for him. Even though because he was pissed because he offered to write him. The reason he was upset is because he offered to write 3 and 4 initially. They're like, no, this guy's writing 4, you write 3. He's like, all right. Well, then he ended up having to rewrite 4 anyway.
So just let him write both of them together.
Exactly. So he was pissed because then he's like, well, yeah, if I had wrote 4, I'd have definitely made a better film than this to begin with.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he was stuck working with what he had to work with because they already had the sets and all that shit built.
Yeah.
So. And
But,
actually,
yeah.
a lot of that shit's reused shit from Suburban Commando and some other movie. I can't remember which.
You gotta do what you gotta do, I guess. But I'm a sucker for bottle type movies, like the third Critters. I don't mind a little like where it's one location with a group of people, have them come together and work and figure something.
It
So,
barely felt like straight to video. That's the,
yeah, that one
the
barely
beauty of
did. But then you get
And
to
the
the
fourth
one.
one did too. The 4th one had a hell of a cast. That's the thing, is you can tell most of the money went towards that cast with Brad Dourif and what's her face, Wakanda Forever lady.
Oh yeah, and you get to see her butt in that, so that's pretty good.
That's not her butt, by the way.
I know, but it's still nice. It's a nice one. But yeah, you get her. It's got a good cast to it. My biggest gripe about that, besides the fact of Critters, is I don't like what they do with Doug. I don't like what they do with him.
That's my biggest gripe.
I really don't think that would be him. I don't buy it.
Yeah, that's my biggest problem with it.
No. But anyways, if you're
Yep.
ready for your final pick, and
My
I'm sure
final
Runner has
pick
nothing to say.
is one of Quentin Tarantino's favorite movies, and it has its own chapter in this book. As soon as I heard about it, I bought it. Actually, it's for a fairly decent price right now from Shout. Boy, I wish that or The Outfit. That's the movie I was thinking of earlier when I said The Syndicate. I'm sorry.
Mm.
The Outfit. I wish I'd gotten to tell you guys about this movie ahead of time and you got a chance to watch it to get your natural reaction. but I actually have a friend who's going to do that for me, so I can kind of give you the rundown on that. So I'm just going to tell you guys what this movie's all about because it's fucking awesome.
Okay.
It is from the writer of Taxi Driver, and it actually was meant to be a counterpiece to Taxi Driver, but Paul Schrader has since basically disowned this movie. But it is a cult favorite and a favorite of Quentin Tarantino's. As I noticed, it even points that out on the back of the cover. It's called Rolling Thunder. I don't know if any of you guys have ever heard of it before.
Now, see, I had never heard of this before.
Okay,
Yeah, me neither.
it has William Devane and Tommy Lee Jones are the two main leads in it. But Tommy Lee doesn't come back in until like damn near the end of the movie almost. But I'll get into that in a minute. The movie kicks off. It came out in 1977, but it takes place in 1973. And Paul, I believe, wrote this actually in the 1960s. And I'm not going to give you too much of the background of the movie because Quentin does a great job of doing that in here. So like, just do that. Like, but basically, this was a movie that went around for a while, finally got made, and Fox picked it up from American International Pictures, and it was so violent they freaked out and sold it, and American International Pictures ended up picking it up again. So that's the short version of that.
Right.
Okay. The story is amazing. Okay. William Devane plays Charles Rayner, and he was a POW in Nam. I can't remember how many years he was in a camp. I think it was like 6 years. And so he's coming home. He hasn't seen his son since he was a toddler. He's been in this camp being tortured daily. And he's finally come home to this huge homecoming.
Right.
They give him a car. It's a nice red Cadillac. They give him this big chest full of silver dollars, for each day he was in there. So there's like $2,500 some dollars in there. And back then, that's a nice chunk of change.
That's a pretty good amount. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like, probably
Yeah.
more like 10 grand now, actually. So they send him home, or he gets home with his family. His wife pretty much tells him flat out that I've been with another man, and not only have I been with another man, I'm in love with him, and we're going to get married. And he just kind of like, yeah, we all figured that's kind of how it was. It couldn't be any other way. And he's really cold about it. And he doesn't even sleep in the house. He sleeps in the shed. Because it's most like the prison he was in.
Right.
And okay, so he's dealing with all this shit. And he doesn't even really hate the guy that his wife is with. She's actually with a pretty decent guy. Because he comes to realize, like, this guy pretty much raised my kid. He's very distant from his kid. His kid and him can't really connect real well. His kid got him a really nice gun for a homecoming gift that his new stepdad to be helped him picked out as well. And there's this scene between the two of them where, like, he's explaining, we all feel bad about this and shit,
Mm-hmm.
we wish it could be some other way, and all that kind of stuff. And he's like, I understand, it is what it is. And he kind of, he goes, you want to know what I went through over there, don't you? And he's like, no. It's like, yeah, you do. It's like, I'll show you. And he takes the rope and he wraps it around his arms. He's like, all right, tie it around my other arm. And so he's got it behind him. He's like, pull. He's showing him, like, how much this motherfucker can take, right? Because he's been tortured every single fucking day for the last 6 years or whatever it was. And he's like, how the hell did you put up with that? He's like, you learned to love the rope. He's like, you learn to love the torture because that's the only way they don't get you. You learn to put up with the pain. You learn to love it. You just... And this guy is just intense as fuck, right? Like, so he's really distant from his family, been staying in the shed, everything like that. One afternoon, he comes home, and there's these hillbilly fucks in his house looking for the coins. Couldn't find them. So they waited for him to get home. They're going to torture him. Guess what?
Not going to work out so well.
He's a master at it. So after them dicking around for a while, they figure he ain't gonna crack. So they stick his fucking hand in the garbage disposal.
Whoa.
Oh
Now,
shit.
now this scene was cut from the film. Like you see what the aftermath and as it's happening, but the actual scene where you see the damage was so visceral that in the first screening, a lady passed out and somebody else left the screening demanding their money back. So it's been cut from the
Dang.
film and nobody's seen it since.
Dang.
I wish it was on here.
I wish they
But it's
could find that. Yeah, that'd be interesting.
So motherfucker has his hand chewed the fuck off. Still doesn't give up the money. His son and soon-to-be ex-wife walk in the door. His son gives up the money right away, thinking it'll save their lives. Boy, was he wrong. They execute the family and him. Only he didn't die. So, and she didn't either. Or no, she did. Yeah, she died. Yeah, that's right. Never mind. It was the other movie. Vigilante. So she dies. The boy dies. He's all alone. He's got a hook for a hand now. He's out for revenge.
Yeah.
So he goes to his boys, Tommy Lee Jones's house. He goes, I found the men that killed my family. Or killed my son. He don't give a shit about his wife.
Yeah.
I found the men that killed my son. And Tommy Lee Jones is like, let me get my shit.
That's the friend you need right there, buddy.
And they go on a fucking rampage. This movie is awesome as fuck. It is
Sounds
one
really
of those
good.
on the edge of your fucking seat movies. I wish I didn't have to spoil the whole goddamn thing for you, but it is a great fucking flick. Great fucking flick.
I think I might have to pick this one up. It sounds really,
it's like
really
$15 right now. I got it for.
Oh, that's a good deal.
15.
That's a good deal.
It's an older shelf factory release, but yeah, you could tell this only reason this movie got released is because of Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah. Quentin Tarantino like to put it out.
Well, there's more to it because, like I said, I want you guys to actually get to the book because he gets deep into it. He actually, one of his first interviews was the director of this movie because he loved it so much. So like he actually did a bunch of interviews and shit when he's a young kid. So there's a great story about that. There's great stories about the movie itself. So that's also what the book's about, and his personal experiences, his personal relationships with people that he went to see movies with. It's a great book. Like I said, I hope he does more, and I'm so glad that I got into it because it sent me down this this rabbit hole of movies that I've never even heard of in some cases. And yeah, I've loved each and every one that he's pretty much recommended so far. Because I already had seen Bullet and stuff like that, but he sent me down that whole like Steve McQueen kick because there's a whole bunch of Steve McQueen in there and stuff like that, and some of the other stuff.
I remember getting into the part
so
where
get used to seeing it. This is going to come up a lot.
That's fine. I like it.
And next week we should have the Stallone bits because I've got one of the movies he mentions. I got another one on the way. I've seen them both, but I haven't seen them in a long time. So
night, Sean. Thanks for hanging with us. But I gotta get.
There's 3 Rocky movies. Rocky he mentions in there too, but we already talked about Rocky.
Yeah, we talked about. I've got to get this Rolling Thunder. It sounds really good. So I can't believe I've never heard of this or seen this before.
I hope I'm not overselling it too much, but I mean, it's from the writer of fucking Taxi Driver, right? Like, so right there, you kind of have
that sells me right.
You might oversell it to Runner, but I think you're selling it just fine.
Yes,
to me.
You got to understand Runner. It's a very 70s film. It's a very it's not. I mean, it's not short. It's 95 minutes. It's a shorter film, but I mean, it's paced like a 70s film.
I mean, because I know you'll agree with me, Tom, when I say this. Like, one of the great things about Tarantino's book, from what I've read so far, is he gives you all of these fucking movies, like in the book, the titles and everything, and it's great for me to like sort of annotate and let myself know, like, hey, you need to watch this, you need to watch that and that and that. So yeah, I'll watch it just to see where Tarantino was really coming from, like in his head, and how he
this is one of his favorite films. Yeah,
that's why I want to watch it, to be honest.
Yeah,
I told my buddy about it. I didn't tell him anything about the movie. Didn't tell him a fucking thing about it. I just told him you can watch it on Amazon or it might be on Tubi. So go watch it, or you can order the Blu-ray, whatever, if you want to take a chance. But I told him, and then just report back to me. I'm like, I'm not going to tell you a fucking thing about it, though. I just want your genuine reaction. Because I went into it knowing the whole movie. So, like, I mean, I still enjoyed it. It's, yeah.
Yeah. Sounds really, really good. I'm definitely gonna check it. I love Tommy Lee Jones movies, his older movies especially, and that just sounded like something I would totally check out.
The director actually wanted Tommy Lee Jones for the lead. The studio is the one who wanted Devane. Because he was the up-and-comer at the time. At that point, Tommy Lee Jones hadn't done so much yet.
Yeah, he was still new.
And that's one of the reasons why Paul Schrader doesn't like this movie, is because the original version of, Charles's character is more or less Tommy Lee Jones. He's a good old boy. He's a bit of a racist redneck. And again, that's another reason why Paul's pissed, is because Taxi Driver was supposed to be, all the victims from Travis were supposed to be black. In this one, Charles has a thing with Mexicans for some reason. Because
you gotta love the
script, all the guys that attack his family are Mexican, and they go down to Mexico. They still go down to Mexico. But what's funny is that two of the guys are white, and they're the only two that have speaking parts. Funnily enough, though, one of is Roscoe P. Coltrane.
Oh, really? He's in it?
Yeah, he's one of the bad guys in it, yeah.
Oh, that's
you
cool.
get to hear him swear a lot. Because one of the best scenes is like, we chewed his hand completely off. And you want to know why he didn't tell us where those were? Why? Because he's a bad motherfucker, that's why.
Oh, now you're selling the movie to me even more. Just into the Roscoe P. Coltrane's in there cussing.
James Best, yeah.
Yes, he's best. Oh,
him and his
yeah, but check this out. If it's on Amazon
What's
or Tubi
funny
or whatever,
is the other guy, the other white
the
guy. The funny thing is the other white guy is in Cool Hand Luke. He's one of the guards in Cool Hand Luke. So I'm sitting here watching Cool Hand Luke. I'm like, I know that guy. Oh yeah, I just saw him in Rolling Thunder. Something Askew is his name, like James Askew or Eric Askew, something like that.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. It's weird connected movie tissue there, but yeah, that I definitely got to check it out. It's amazing the movies you can find and see that you never knew about before, and that's why I like you guys on the show, and I like the book with Tarantino, because it helps you find these movies that maybe we didn't know about or forgot about. Luke Askew.
Thank you, Stephen. The other funny
you
part,
give it to Stephen,
because there's so many stories in here. One of the other funny stories of this is he said David Carradine was actually originally offered the role as lead, and he turned it down. And he had never seen the movie. He's like, he read the original script. That's what they offered him.
Mm-hmm.
And he finally got to see the movie when he was making Kill Bill with Tarantino. Tarantino had one of his Tarantino Fest screening things, and Rolling Thunder was one of the main features. So it's the first time David had ever seen the film. And after the movie, David turns to him and he goes, man, I turned down some really good stuff back in the day, but I had to be an idiot not to do this movie. He goes, this is the one thing I regret the most not doing. But he goes, the problem, Quint, was the script I read was not this movie. This movie's better than the script.
Oh, damn.
Oh, that would suck.
As I said, Paul Schrader's script was more like Taxi Driver in a sense, but it was like,
Yeah.
This, they just go balls out. And Quentin ends basically his whole thing with like, Paul Schrader's disowned the movie and hates it basically because it's the best revenge-o-matic flick there ever was made, and he hated revenge-o-matic flicks.
Don't you hate when you make the best one ever made and you didn't want to?
Because it was kind of, and that's the thing, and that's where the other part where he's talking about is all those movies that they were making were the anti-genre films, which is what we're seeing now, right? The deconstruction of everything. So his script was the deconstruction of the revenge-o-matic, and they just reconstructed it into one of the best revenge-o-matic films of all time, basically, yeah. Because there was this other writer, I can't remember his name, but something Gould, who came on and rewrote it, and yeah, Jeff Flynn, I think, was the director. John Flynn, who had directed The Lockup and The Outfit. So
Yeah, I definitely
Haywood
got to
Gold
see
is
it.
the writer. Haywood Gold was the other writer. He worked on Fort Apache in the Bronx. Yeah.
But yeah, I have definitely got to check out this movie. It's in my wheelhouse, guaranteed, guaranteed. Great picks tonight, guys. Tom, Runner, as always.
Sorry
You
for
get.
having so many.
Oh
I
no, no,
stretched the
that's
show out so
fine.
late.
Sometimes
That's cool.
no, that's fine. It's cool because you get to bring us movies like Rolling Thunder that I have never seen, so now I will see. So I appreciate that.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
really
always
want to watch that.
yeah,
There's a
and it's
little
always
bit more to
fun.
the movie I didn't get into, but like, yeah. It's a good flick though. Like, I mean, it's not like batshit crazy in a sense like it's weird, dumb. Like the dumbest thing in the whole movie that didn't make sense to me is there's in the beginning there's this chick who's like, you know, like a Miss America kind of thing. She's like the
Hmm.
city, whatever. She wears like this bracelet in remembrance of him the whole time he was a POW. So she's got like a little thing for him, and then after he realizes his wife is going to leave him and all that shit, he ends up running into her at the bar. So then when he's leaving town to go kill these guys, he takes her with for some reason. It's never really, there's never really a good reason why. That's like the only part that doesn't make much sense. Like, and Tarantino gets into that in his book too. But like, yeah. I gotta
Maybe
agree with him. But you're scratching your head going, why is he dragging her ass along?
Yeah, maybe you just want a little piece of it or something. I don't know.
Well, he uses her to get into some of these clubs, but it makes no sense, as Tarantino says. And this is where he says Paul Schrader's worst at working in genre films is he does stupid shit like that. Because that's, I guess, a Paul Schrader thing. Where he has a lot of characters that kind of move along the plot for the main creator or main actor or main character. So and she's one of them. But he expresses that the movie does better with the character than the original script did. But anyway,
Yep.
I think it's a good flick.
Yeah, I think it sounds like a great flick. And people in the chat, that if there's a lot of people in the chat that seen it, seem to think it's a really great really great flick as well.
Tommy Lee Jones must have liked it. Tommy Lee Jones must have liked it enough. He's actually on the making of.
Oh,
yeah,
that's rare. That is rare. So he must have liked it. So
that's what I'm saying. Like he's not. He's usually a curmudgeon. He don't talk about shit.
Yeah, he's got that face.
But he must have liked this movie enough because he's not in it all that much. But it was a brand new interview at that time from Shout Factory. So
nice.
So he actually talked to Shout Factory, which means
cool.
Which means he did like the movie. Yes, yes. So that makes it even more. That makes me even more want to see it. To be honest with you. But thank you guys. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Runner. Thank you to everybody in the chat, everybody that watched us and hung with us. Appreciate it. Hope we gave you guys some movies that you want to see. I know Tom gave me a list of some movies I want to see. And as always, I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so very much for watching. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. See you next week.
How you doing? Bitches leave.